He's excitable. He's excitable. Here you go. Now you guys should be able to hear everybody. Okay. Hi. Give me a mic test, Jimmy first.
Ooh, echo.
Hello.
Sake.
Okay. Now Dan, give me a mic check, or Pew, whatever.
Hello.
Okay, that's close enough. And per the usual, Jake.
Howdy.
Okay, everybody's more or less okay. It seems like the music might be too loud. So this is the post show podcast. Last time we went pretty good time. We have with us once again the former blah 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 champions, Quartz, aka Jake Allen, the commentary speaker guy. We have rookie and leader of the largest faction in recorded history of OCW, DNS, Jimmy. Say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, and then now, last but not least, we have the infamous, I guess, I don't know, legendary Paul Pugh. Say hi, stupid.
Infamous is stupid. It's not.
Don't call him stupid. Come on.
Yeah, there's no need for that.
Yeah, you know what?
You're trying to cause issues.
Yeah, he is. He's trying to instigate. I don't like that.
See, great. Love it. Love how it was turned on me. Anyway, what you call it? I hate this place. Anyway, we have a Hard Target, newest pay-per-view. People liked it. I didn't hate it. So I guess we're gonna discuss it. So do we want to go in any particular? I guess we're gonna go in particular order. So
you need to make those calls. I don't want you asking us what order we need to go.
We'll just go in order. The introduction. I don't like talking about my shit. I just know that it caused me to be late. It gave me a headache, and I hate everything, and I have to fix this front thing. So intro was whatever. Yay! I learned Premiere Pro in like 5 hours, so that's cool. And anybody
what was wrong with Vegas? Sorry, you didn't answer that question before. What was wrong with Vegas?
So Vegas, while easy to use, the problem with Vegas is Vegas likes to crash when you have a lot of assets and stuff. So I didn't want to have to deal with that because that would fucking like fit me to be tied. I wasn't in the mood for none of that nonsense. So I said, let me just use Premiere. I used Premiere to do the Summerside 2022 before, and that worked out pretty okay. So I was basically learning Premiere on again. It's like I know how to use it. It's just that like I don't know. It worked out. It's just that certain things I didn't want to work anymore. Like I had a bunch of overlays on it to make it look a little bit nicer, but it didn't. When I rendered it looked horrible, and I wasn't in the mood to fix it. And then when I added someone's video, because it's easy to clip, because like it doesn't matter. DaVinci's is great. Premiere's whatever. Intro. Anyone want to talk about the intro? Anything? Any comments?
Yes,
we'll do Jake, Jimmy, then Pew. Go ahead.
All I wanted to say, and this is all I had on my notes, is that the intro was hot as fuck. Jay keeps going above and beyond. I mean, obviously, I have more information on the back end than most people in OCW. Like your computer was exploding. You were having major issues throughout, and this happens kind of every freemium live event that we do. That like it gets delayed, and that's pretty common at this point. Like most pay-per-views that we run no. Most pay-per-views we do are delayed, but it's for good reason, and that's why nobody complains. Well, nobody complains. I definitely don't complain. I know it's because you're punishing yourself, you're killing yourself to like make this like the biggest deal. And hey, it ended up working out.
And then people
30 minutes late, and it worked. And it worked out. It was a fucking awesome pay-per-view. So hey. If 30 minutes is the sacrifice I have to make to get that extra layer of quality of life, I'll take it. I love the intro. It was awesome. Good job, Jay.
Jimmy.
I thought the whole thing going, past the intro to like all of the lead up stuff, all the stuff they did for Hard Target was really amazing. I loved the video. I watched that video like 10 times. Honestly,
I hope
just
so.
The NASCAR stuff, it was really great. I just love the way he did the soundtrack, and all the assets for Hard Target in general were just amazing, top tier in terms of like what you did. So I thought it was just quality stuff, A+.
Danny,
yeah, it was good. It was fine. I noticed that you used Philadelphia instead of.
No, that's actually New Orleans, you asshole. Don't try to defend yourself.
Inside joke. Sorry.
Yeah,
he laughed so quick. I knew he knew.
Yeah, it was good. It was the thing that's different about what me and Kent were kind of discussing it because we kind of watched it together on the quiet, and it was kind of like this shit didn't used to happen back in the olden days because it was too much effort. Like, it didn't. So it's nice that you've got that now. You did do this shit back in the olden days, so it's good that you do it now, and like everyone should appreciate it, because I've seen Jay at his worst, and Jay at his worst is he shows up and half-asses it, and you've not had that version of Jay for 6-7 years in OCW. So like, be grateful for it, because it's great.
Okay.
100%.
Enough about me. So we have our first thing. Let's do the match. You want to do the? You know
Enough
what?
about you. You're the reason we're here. And the 19th anniversary, like, that gets me so hyped. Like, you've got this shit going 2 decades, Jay. Do you understand how big that is?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to belabor the point too much. Let's get into the show.
So we have
a lot of wasted time.
No, we have the. So I guess we'll do the hype packages because there was quite a few hype packages.
I have the full. Yeah,
Oh,
I took notes. I have the full run.
I think you
Dan
and
does
Pugh
as well.
took notes as well. I was taking notes, but I just got upset, so I stopped writing. I just wrote down my little numbers, my little, what's it called? My little ratings with a question mark to see if I can remember whatever.
Seltzers.
Yeah, to see what it irritated me or what, I don't fucking know. Like, people are like, this is amazing, and I'm like, it's okay, but that's just me. Blah, blah, blah.
It's kind of like what I told you every single time we did commentary, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, whatever. People are entitled to know that they're what you call it. So first things first, we have the opening segment for the tag team championship. The
DNS
the underdogs,
the future idiots.
We'll do Pugh, Jimmy, Jake. My quick thoughts was pretty, like, everyone has every video package has like a certain degree of difference. Everyone has a different style. Everyone has a different skill level. So for the skill level that was used in this, I didn't hate it. Song was kind of cool, kind of catchy, whatever. It served its point. I'll talk about other segments later on, but like, when it comes to these hype packages, sometimes less is more. Some people like to go super long. You don't necessarily have to. Sometimes you have to give context, but there's usually a sweet spot, and I'll get to that later. So for me, I give it a solid B+ if we're doing letters. So next up would be Pugh.
It was like, it wasn't the best on the show, it wasn't the worst on the show. It was like, did what he came in to do and then went kind of uneventfully. Like, it was all right. Like, it was fine. Like, I don't have anything more to say.
Yeah, basically
that.
like
it didn't particularly get me
London
hyped for the match, but
fine.
also like, yeah, exactly. It didn't particularly get me hyped for anything, but also like, the match was kind of.
Well, we'll talk about the match separately.
Anyway,
well,
so that might have been a me thing.
Hey, we'll do the match separately, unless you want to. Unless we want to. Actually, you know what? That'll probably be a good idea. So we'll do.
That's. I'll tell you, Jay. That's how I took my notes. Is I packaged the hype package with the whole kind of presentation.
Okay.
So I think that's the better way to do it.
So we can roll. We can roll into that.
Let Dan riff on the whole hype package.
On the whole match.
Hype package match, the whole shebang bang.
Hype package didn't do a whole lot for me. One thing that I wanted to note is copyright shit. Don't do it, because like, copyright shit puts OCW at risk. It puts OCW at risk from Twitch and YouTube and whatever. Like, yeah, it's funny, but also like, come on, you don't need to do it. And then Samson is just a guy that does not have any tag team aptitude whatsoever. There was a point where he tagged out only for Mad Dog to come in and take a finisher. There was a point where he was stood on the apron, but he wasn't actually in his corner. He was just standing there. So Mad Dog came over to take a tag, and there was no tag because he wasn't there. Yeah. I don't know. It just kind of fell flat for me. It was not great for me, but it might have just been because I wasn't hyped for the match. It didn't do anything for me early on, and it didn't get any better, basically.
Jimmy?
Not to be really bad about it, but that was kind of like, yeah, that was my feeling there.
It'd be like that sometimes. Jimmy?
I think, having inside perspective on it will kind of, just... There's definitely, we would like to perform better as a group, if you know what I mean. But that kind of comes with the territory sometimes when you have your first pay-per-view big thing. Definitely, the match fell short of what I think all the competitors wanted, kind of the conversation there. Unfortunately, there were some the FPR break where they didn't count the finishers, and they took a fourth finisher. Thankfully, it didn't impact the match in any way, shape, or form in terms of the outcome. But that's the type of stuff we've got to get cleaned up as a group. So, when you read the show, you'll see we've got some encouragement, in terms of DNS and trying to create that rapport. But we could have done better. Definitely need some improvement. This is the way that I'll say it.
I didn't even. The funny thing is, neither myself nor Jay caught the FPR break. Like I wasn't annoyed by the match. I was like, okay, it's just a match. Like I was like, I'm like indifferent to it, or as I often say, didn't hate it. I guess, which is the possible semi not best or worst thing you can get. But didn't notice that, so that's kind of sucked. But it'd be like that sometimes. Jake, you're up. I'm sure you have stuff with your notes.
Yeah, so the hype package for sure. It told a nice story, especially at the beginning. It was really like going even back to the roots of the John Carter Jordan Trans friendship, which I appreciated. Kind of showing how they got to the point that they're at. It seemed kind of boilerplate at the point, and then the DNS thing hit, and it turned into a whole nother hype package. That was my favorite part of the whole thing. Like it was like two hype packages in one, where it was telling two different stories. That said, the clips seemed a little oddly placed at times. They didn't seem like they were fitting into the story that you were trying to tell.
The trans
with
shit,
the hype package,
which is weird.
And we'll talk about it more as we talk about how story plays into the hype package a lot. But yeah, initially, like they did the thing where the music said the words "Perfect Storm," so they played us. And then they, me and Harvey, and then they played other tag teams as well. If it was just us, I thought it would have been kind of cheeky. But with all the other teams, I was like, oh, shit, we're putting over the tag team division as a whole. I thought that was cool. But overall, the clips were a little oddly placed. It didn't seem to like be as coherent as it could have been. That said, effort is always beloved. Passion is always beloved. And this is how we get better, right? You can go back to anybody who has done any, me and anybody who has ever done any of this shit. And our early work is dog shit. So go back, look at it, find ways to improve it. Take this podcast, for example, and move forward. The match itself, there was a very fun exchange with Mad Dog at the start. I mean, I think it happened right when you and I were talking about Mad Dog's momentum at the time, and he was going tit for tat with John Carter. It was awesome. I really enjoyed that. Mad Dog letting John Carter crawl away annoyed me at first. Like he's just letting his opponent get the hot tag. That made no sense. But he like threw the middle fingers up. He did like the Stone Cold taunt, which I was like, okay. He wants him to come in. So at least he gave the story a reason for Jordan Trance to come back in. And then, the match was fine. It was good as an opener until the FPR break. That took the wind out of my sails kind of completely. You got to know at that point, a breakup is not how FPR works. But it wasn't like an intent. It wasn't a thing like. I'll give a good example. It wasn't like Pugh versus Rex where they intentionally broke FPR to try and make it better. It felt like an accident.
They didn't break FPR. It was just a dog shit.
Don't interrupt me.
Don't do that.
It felt like a situation where it was just like Pugh said. Like Samson doesn't know what he's doing, so he just kicked out because he thought he could. And like you just got to know the rules better. And this is what happens. You break the rules, we tell you not to break the rules, and then if you do it again, then you're incompetent. So this is an individual situation. He's not going to do it again. It's fine. I thought it served DNS greatly to be on this stage in the tag team match. The whole future investment thing, nobody talked about the end segment. There's not really much to talk about. It was really just a comedy spot. Yes, but I will back Pugh up 100% here. Do not do the fucking blockbuster Hollywood thing. Just don't do it. If it's like a movie from 2002 or whatever, like Pirates of the Caribbean or something like that, throw a filter on it or something. But this is a blockbuster that came out this year. Like the algorithms are looking for this shit. So just be conscious of that. We don't want Jay's 20-year legacy to be taken down by your bullshit. So just be aware of it. I don't want to have to throw a million filters on your bullshit.
It's extra work. That's not needed.
But it was good. DNS looked strong here. They look good, and it made sense for the story. They weren't ready for the tag team gold, but they were ready for this moment, and I think it worked to that effect.
Anything else to add, or are you good or straight? Okay, I'm assuming so. We have the backstage.
Stacy interviews the Max.
Yes, Stacy's busy as fuck. That's why she gets 500K. Stacy interviews the Max. I mean, we can go round robin. So we'll do Jake, Jimmy, then Pugh. Go ahead.
I love the Stacy stuff because I think this is kind of an overall thing that I have for this show. Is a lot of the segments, not a lot of the segments, all of the segments were perfect for this show. Like, they didn't overstay their welcome. There weren't like more segments than there were matches. They didn't like overbear on the overarching story of what was going on. I actually really enjoyed it. You don't see that a lot in OCW, where like a match happens and then right after you see somebody trying to catch up with them backstage and like, hey, what's going on? So I really appreciated that. I popped so huge for Samson like shouting during the promo. Like, Stacy was trying to interview Mad Dog and Samson was
You got the wrong one. Sorry to cut you off. You got the wrong one.
You jumped to the
ahead.
Yeah, well, there's two back to back. Remember, it was Marissa and Marissa Mack. Yeah,
yeah. My notes cover them both, so I'll cover them both here. Cool. So yeah, the DNS thing was like he was like shouting. That popped me huge. It didn't overstay its welcome. It was good. DNS's presence has never been a problem, to the point where people think it's too much. And then for the Max segment, I thought was great as well, because the story that both Marissa and Iceman were coming into these major championship opportunities when neither of them have ever held singles gold was super cool. And the fact that Riot put that over at the very beginning of the show before anything had happened led more people to believe that it was going to be, oh my God, this is the Max night. That's pro wrestling, baby. That's perfect. The addition of, I wanted to add this, the addition of FloJo in there as the future investment briefcase holder was awesome as well, because I actually heard people in VP after the women's title match, they were like, oh shit, is this FloJo? And so this is that, you're planting the seeds, and it just helped the overall presentation of the thing. But I've talked too much. Let's move on.
Jimmy.
Jake made some great points, but to kind of expand upon that, I thought the storytelling in terms of the way that the segment played out with FloJo and overall the way that everything kind of played out in the end really kind of made picture perfect. It created a lot of confusion. And when the picture isn't clear in wrestling, that's usually the best thing you can have, right? It's like some intrigue. What's actually going to happen instead of it being predictable? So I think lots of times predictable things happen, even in OCW, and this was unpredictable. So it really was interesting to me. It was kind of coupling the DNS thing in. I personally, when I saw the stuff, I thought it was a good kind of moment where they showed their personality and their character. Of course, Mad Dog is Flowing's character. We know that. We personally as a group are just trying to toe the line between active and overzealous. You know what I mean? So we're just trying to, get in where we fit in type thing and go with the flow right now.
Pew, Dan, whatever.
Yes. So first of all, I enjoyed the Jerry Springer clapping on the Marissa. It was like yay! It was such nothing round of applause. Jake's going to disagree with me and probably shout at me. I find FloJo to be incredibly one-note since Lucian. So FloJo went and won the future investment, and you've just seen the same promo over and over and over again from FloJo. There's no sort of expansion on it. It's, I'm going to come for the champion, which is fine, but like sometimes it's nice to kind of slip off into the background if you've not actually got any interaction with the champion and kind of let people forget that you exist, because then there's more impact when you actually come back. I think that's like a solid way to do future investment, is kind of, if you're there talking about it all the time and not doing anything, you just seem like you're not going to do anything. Like it just kind of, it gets lost. I might as well do the DNS one while I'm here as well. I've never seen Stacy gyrate like that. I don't think Stacy should be gyrating like that. Stacy is a middle-aged lady at this point. She has no business gyrating like that. And
exactly.
I think DNS should be ashamed of what they did, basically.
Pretty much.
I can't. I was really critical of Samson in that first match, and I just can't get behind Samson in DNS. I've been trying to. I just don't. I don't like it. I don't like it because
they don't have it in the ring. I agree with you there.
His sort of twitching and weirdness is just it happens every promo, and then I'm trying to read him twitching while I'm reading some other dialogue, and it doesn't work. Just slow it down.
So we have a whole pay-per-view, but just a quick side note on that. Like I kind of expected Samson to be like the like he gets whatever, and then he's the guy. Card. Yeah, but he's the guy that breaks free, and then it becomes Samson versus DNS, because now he has a plethora of people to go through. He's kind of gone from being like the the guy with Rex, and he was actually standing out a lot, now to being this kind of background character now. That's why I always go on my little tirades about fucking faction sizes, but that's neither here nor there. That was just my assessment on it.
But before we move on, Jay, I'll say that yes, I do agree with you, but I don't think that that the story is done yet. So I think that could still be a possibility. And to Dan's point that he think I would disagree with him, I actually agree with him 1,000% on FloJo. That is a very enticing way to do the future investment. And even though I have been involved in a lot of including FloJo in keeping her relevant in the whole title feud thing, I do totally agree that it has been very samey. It's just hey, I got this. Don't forget, I got this. So I didn't think about it until Dan actually said it, but the perspective of it's just the same thing over and over.
You can even tease it. You can tease it. You can come out to the ring, or your music can play. You can do shit around the same thing. The same theme can still be there, but that's what
agree. And I think the main issue that happened with FloJo on this initial burst since she won the future investment was the Alyssa Marceau feud, because it happened right after, and that could have been a great way to be I'm doing this while I still have this big prize and I could still cash in at any moment. But then it was just Alyssa attacked her once and then they did nothing for 6 weeks and then they had a match. And it's okay, fine. And so it was that kind of stop-start deal, and FloJo does seem lost. I'm glad that they're at least making an attempt to stay in the picture, but I 100% agree with what Dan said on this point.
There's always room for improvement, and if you heard a weird noise, that's crazy cocaine neighbor moving furniture. I am not breaking wind at a dramatic pace. Moving
I'm not your
on.
neighbor.
Fuck you. Moving on. Don't interrupt me. We have what's the next?
Parka
match?
and Amart.
Parka and Amart. Okay, I'll sound off on this first. Actually, no, I'll wait to the end. No, I'll sound off on it first. Amart should have died. The way this was in my head was essentially Parka eats Amart shit. They get in the ring. Amart dies. Everybody's happy. We go home. That didn't happen. That pissed me off. I was okay up until 11 minutes, and then we went an additional fucking, I don't even know how many, or maybe 10 minutes. I don't know. It's you can't be the guy on stream saying, yo, hey, you finisher, hey, you finisher, hey, you finisher, the fucking rookies, and then do that. Come on, man. Fuck, dude. It's I just, whatever. So we'll do Jake, Jimmy, then Pugh.
All right. Yeah. So I agree with most of what you said. I don't think going after the person.
It's not a personal thing, but it's just come on.
It's not. It's not. But I get it. That is a thing that happened, but it's different circumstances, so it's not a 1-to-1 comparison to say that. But what I would say is Parka and Amart started exactly as it should have. It started super fun. Both entrances were perfect as they should have been. The presentation was awesome. Everybody wanted Amart to get his fucking ass kicked. Parker just annihilating him as he should at the start was great. The Dragon Rana spot was great. He's going out of his way to hurt him. Lucha, all the high spot. That springboard into the stun was tremendous as well. But I think it was at that springboard that it kind of got derailed, because it should have, like you said, Jay. You kind of nailed it.
You know when it happened though.
I do. It was that springboard spot. It was that springboard spot, because the first one that happened, and I have them all written down here. There was a stun, and everybody's like, "Oh shit,
he's gonna hit him," and he's like, "Oh, Irish whip."
And he did.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, he didn't Irish whip him. He rolled. He tried to do a roll up, and then this he did hit him with it immediately after. So we were like, "Okay, fine." And then, the match went way longer than was ideal. He went for the moonsault instead of hitting the finisher, which the fall away moonsault slam from the top rope. That part I can forgive, because it's oh shit, big pay-per-view, big spot, whatever. But there was just so many opportunities where he could have just put him away, and he didn't. And it felt less to me this guy wants to kill Amart, and more to me I'm trying to give Amart a chance to get over. And he's not going to get over. He's not a competent person. So the multiple Trouble in Tijuana spot was super fun, but then I think that's where it got really derailed, because that would have been 1, 2, and then the armbar, and then it's over. But then it got fucked up, because the armbar went to a rope break, and then we had 6 more minutes of them it was not After that, it was not good. The rope break frustrated me. Once they got to the tap out, it was what I wanted, but it should have happened like 10 minutes earlier. I wanted Amart to die, and
Just
I'm a huge
whoop
El
his
Parker
ass.
fan.
That was the idea.
Just
It's
kill him.
okay.
Just
like, fuck, dude.
kill. And but it's not like kill him because it's like we playing a video game.
No,
That's the story that was being told.
Fucking
Yeah,
exactly.
so that's how I felt.
That's
Go
my
ahead.
like I said, my only thing is like you can't be like, oh, you gotta fucking hit your finisher and then do that shit. It's like, come on, bro, you better than that. Fuck.
I'm not
Jimmy.
worried so much about you calling
Jimmy.
people hypocrites, but
So I think I bring a unique perspective here. I'm going to be the first one to admit I'm probably not the best at filming.
You've actually improved, honestly enough, which is weird. I was thinking about that today.
Well, I stay in the Samson dungeon from 2 to 4 a.m. sometimes. That's how I get
Putting
better.
on bangers and missing tags.
Yeah,
you
we're
go,
putting
you
on
go,
bangers
boy.
for the
Bangers.
DM time every night. But I understand the perspective. You know, like Amart may not be that great at the game. You know, but like I think the thing that I thought throughout the entire match is like Parker didn't want to bury him. You know what I mean? Like just, he didn't want to like dog walk him or whatever it is. And like I've been in matches where I just got dog walked. Like, and it sucks. But at least you know you weren't the other person wasn't giving you anything. You know what I mean? I don't know that to be the case, but it looked like maybe he just was playing with his food or whatever you want to call whatever
Mike
thing
Johnson.
you want to use there.
it's a good way
Yeah,
to put it.
but you know, I just feel like he didn't want to bury the professor as they're calling him. And by the way, Amar's gear, if he wrestled half as good as his gear was, he'd be pretty good. Like
This whole presentation's awesome for sure.
yeah, so that stuff was great. I thought his gear was some of the best of the night. Just to point that out as well. It was coordinated well. I loved his entrance and all that stuff. But you know, it's one of those situations where Amart's got to put in the work and look at himself in the mirror, like I've done, you know, early on in my OCW career, and said I'm either going to work at this and get better, or I'm going to have to pivot and not embarrass myself. You know, that's the reality.
I mean, before Pugh, like, yeah, like you're not great, but you're not bad. You look fucking weird, but you know you're learning. So you're a rookie. It's fine. This dude's not a rookie, and it's not like slander. It's just that the way like Jake makes fun of the golden era. He's from the golden era, and every time fucking I just see modern day golden era, and I think of Jake's face, and it makes me fucking furious. Cause like this is fucking exactly right. Just kind of being held around. Like he's not a bad dude. Don't hate him. But it's like, come on, bro. Like, just get your ass whooped and call it a fucking day. Whatever.
But it just plays into the story more. That's what I'm saying. If this was like a grand thing, like a world title match, and this person's supposed to be held appropriately, like I can see that. But Amart's a stooge. He's a fucking stooge.
Oh, trust me.
Just kill him. He's not going
me.
to lose anything from it.
Trust
just
me.
kill him.
100%. And
I'm
and
going
that
to
was gonna
have
be
him
my
killed
point.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, my point is literally that. My point is nobody comes out of this match elevated. Parker has no business busying himself with Amart. Amart has no business in the ring with Parker because there's such disparity in their trajectories, in their careers. Like this match, for whatever reason, happened, and like I'm looking at it right now. It says grudge match on the screen, but there's no actual grudge. Like there was never like there's no back and forth. The things that I wrote down were basically like, the reason there's no back and forth is because Amart he came back with the opportunity to rewrite history however he wanted. He left OCW as the TV title champion or whatever he was. He was a champion when he flaked from OCW. He could have come back. I'm the real champion. I've never been beat. I'm this big deal. He didn't. He just slipped into the undercard. And because of that, he's now trying to be a big deal against people who are bigger deals than him, and you don't buy it because of that, because he hasn't shown that. He's just had his ass handed to him again and again. From Parker's point of view, like there was that bit that you spoke about where kind of the energy went out of the room. You two on commentary both completely just, you felt the air go out of you when that finisher didn't happen, because that was the end of the match. I heard Jake, you can pick it up. Like, if you go back and watch that match, there's a distinct moment where Jake just goes, and like, yes. It was because you don't buy it. And like, you're supposed to have feuds with people above you, but you're not supposed to have feuds with people that level above you. And Parker shouldn't be dropping down that level. Like, he's a very competent guy. As much as we don't get on, he's a very competent OCW handler, but this has been mid. Like, since the turmoil stuff, since the Lucian stuff with Aries, he's kind of just slipped into the background. And like, if you're trying to do this big, I'm the big baby face and here's my big redemption story, like, do it. Like, there's bigger targets to go after. Do it. Don't fuck around with Amart. Like, it just feels Bush League and bad, and it doesn't help anybody. That was all I got out of this match. It was elongated for no reason. It felt like it went. You said 6 minutes, but it felt like fucking 6 hours. It was just so long, and it was never competitive. That was the thing.
That's fine. It would have been great if you would have just fucking died, and then and then it doesn't matter because he's a stooge, and we move not Parker's stooge, but Amar's stooge, and we move on. But like that didn't happen. And that fucking just like that kind of reminds me of the Rex and Pugh match, honestly, kind of. But it's just you two are fucking bumping asses with each other. What?
Jay, before we move on, I just everything Dan said is 100% how I feel. I will just give a little bit of content, like. They do have a reason to fight. Like it's not.
No, they do. 100%.
It's not. It's not that the connection of Amart and Park. Because what I'll say is, yes, like what Dan said is perfect. He's the big baby face who's trying to fight against GSS, but he's there's a lot of reasons, both in kayfabe and out of it, that he's not going to immediately go to Aries. And so I appreciated the fact that they're elongating it a little bit and like making kind of some new stories around it. But yes, El Parka is a Grand Slam champion. He's a former world champion. This fucking dick beater who showed up and couldn't win a tag match with Paul Boulay in his debut, he is not on your level. Just
former US TV champion.
And it's not even a shot at Amart.
It's
honestly.
Not. That's what I'm saying.
You're at a level. We were all at that level. I was at that level. We were all at that level.
You got 2-on-1, remember? I mean, 1-on-2.
Embrace that level and make the most of it. We don't need to try and make Amart to be a world beater. There's no reason to do that.
You lost.
We know El Park is gonna shit can you. So just shit can him. Don't fucking make us wait 16 minutes for it.
You lost a 2-on-1 on a pay-per-view. Was it Lucian? You and Russ lost a 2-on-1 against what's his name?
Yes, against Tyson Wagner.
And nobody gave you. And then you went on to become went on to do CQC.
But that's okay. I don't want to make this about.
It's not
me,
about you. But I'm just saying. I know. It's okay.
That's a good example. It's a good comparison. But I'm saying like there's a reason for them to fight on pay-per-view. It was a good thing. But it's like Bischoff versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
This is not a competitive contest. Kill him, move on, and do your babyface thing. That's kind of what I wanted here. They got to that point. It just took too long. So
it got to the point where he wasn't a babyface anymore. He was just destroying this.
He was just killing him, right? Yeah. That's fair.
And the thing, the consistent thing with Amart since he's come, because obviously I've had a lot of dealings with him because of ambition. And the key thing with Amart is everything has been sped up, but he hasn't. So he tagged with Parker and turned on him, but it wasn't long enough for you to care about that. So like the big turn was like, who gives a shit?
It was instant. It was like one week they slapped 5, and then the next week he killed him.
And he's working with Paul Boulay, and it could have been like Paul Boulay. Fucking Core is so good at writing. He will pull you up to his level, and that's all Amart needed. He just needed like a softball feud. Who cares at the end of the match? But he needed a softball feud to get him in. He isn't on the level of these guys. He shouldn't be dealing with these guys yet. Like, unfortunately. Like, in the 2 years that he was here, he never made an impact. Unfortunately, that's the sort of
that's the reality of the situation.
Levels is a fucking good.
We don't need to bullshit about it.
Levels is a good analogy. Shit.
Like it's just like there's a reason that these sort of hierarchies exist in OCW. It's because people have put in the time. You can't speedrun OCW. Some people do, but it doesn't always work out. Like. It's not something that happens often, and if you haven't got the complexion and the wherewithal to do it, then you can't handle that. And we're seeing right now, like, if you can't put your fucking hands up in a match, you're going to do badly in OCW, regardless of how you write, regardless of who you're friends with. And like, it's a shame. He's a nice guy. His pants look nice, but yeah.
It's not an indictment on him, and we can move on. But like, it's just like that's pretty much.
And I so appreciate, and I gotta say, like, I don't want this to be a situation where we're like, oh, like Brian comes in, and he's like, oh, you don't want me working with people that are lower. Like, I appreciate you're making the effort to try and bring people up, but you have to understand the story that's being told. You can't just take a guy from the doldrums and pretend they're a main eventer. Kill him. You are El Parka. Kill him.
I mean, I'll leave it.
that's
I'll leave it like that because there's some shit. Because basically, what happens is you do that, right, and then we see that, and I see that. Like, oh, cool. So I put like before I used to be like, oh, I'll just put this guy against like Rex. He'll do great, and then he gets disrupted. Like, why did that happen? So, but this didn't happen there.
Yeah.
But he's still gonna. Amon's still gonna
Jay,
die because I'm upset. Anyway,
And Jay, we're
what?
gonna talk about this a lot later, but
What?
you don't have to, like, it doesn't have to be a competitive thing to get somebody over, right?
I didn't say that.
Like if you tell, I'm not
Oh,
correcting
gotcha.
you. I'm just making a point on the pod here.
Got you. Okay. So moving on. So now the temperature actually changes. B17 versus Mark Reese.
No, actually,
wait, no?
Claude got brained by a fucking
Oh yes.
brick.
So yeah.
Jesus.
So the funny thing is that like that and then the M stuff. I'm like, the M stuff is very more sports entertaining, and this could have been sports entertaining, but this just looked like
This was just violent.
I don't. I have mixed feelings about this because on one point it's like, okay, cool. So that happened. It's fucking awful. And then obviously we can do the whole thing with Cena being, oh, it wasn't, I was here, but it wasn't me, which is cool. That'll work. But it's like after that, it's like, what? So is Claude gonna show up next week? Fuck you, you're dead. Like there's some stuff I won't spoil, but it's like now that kind of fucks with what I'm doing because it's like this dude has brain damage now or something. Like I don't know how to like. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, how do you come back? Like, if it was,
yeah, that's true.
And then the thing
there's
is,
a line certain people don't know, like what is realistic. You just got
the
brained
gore,
and they didn't even leave it vague.
The
you know
gore
what I mean? Like
on the thing,
they didn't just leave the cinder block with like blood on it. They showed him with blood on his head. So somebody clearly brained him with this and either hit him with it while it was broken, which might be worse, or broke it over his head, which is that's
what I'm
crime.
saying. Like that's
a literal crime.
Yeah, like that's I don't from a like it sounds stupid. Kayfa's perspective is like it's not like the shitty WWE cinder blocks to turn into powder. Like that's a fucking like you saw it. Like I was looking for any kind of thing to make sense in my head. Like, all right, well look, it's a fucking shitty. No, this motherfucker dead. So it's like, what the fuck what do I do with that? Like, what do I?
You don't have to. You don't have to throw it to me. I'll just say, like, sports entertainment stuff like that. I was entertained. I was because it was like, holy fucking shit.
But it's like, what do you do?
But you need, exactly. You need to know kind of what comes next, and I don't necessarily think that you need to escalate from the previous thing all the time.
There's no escalation. He's dead.
No, but I know. I know exactly right, but I don't think you have to do an escalation from point to point. I think as long as the story works, I'm just like I don't know what they're gonna do from here, and I'm
like it's not.
It was insane. It was insane.
Good, because like it'll be good if Claude is gone for fucking 6 months, 3 months,
and I think he could be.
He has to be.
I'm not gonna put any writing on the wall.
If this motherfucker shows up in fucking December, I'm like, get out of my face. It's like I have a metal plate in my head, boss. Like, I fuck.
Aries has got you making assumptions about where people are going to go.
You know what? Maybe he'll be the newest member of the fucking Ass Academy, whatever the fuck it's called nowadays.
I won't make any assumptions now, but it's crazy. It was definitely impactful.
I didn't hate it, but it's like you could have been a little bit like that shit is murder. That's what it looks like. So it's like, okay, well, I don't fucking know. We'll do Pugh, Jimmy. I guess Jake already spoke with Pugh, Jimmy. Go ahead, Pugh. Fuck.
Nothing that you didn't already say. Like, there's a limit to this. One of the tricks of OCW is making sure that you can always get out the hole that you dig yourself into. And when you start doing things like significant brain injuries for no good reason, then you kind of can't come back from that. I remember
it's the gore that fucked it up for me, though. That's what I'm saying.
It's not even just the gore, though. It's just there's just things that you don't do in OCW, and that's one of the things that you don't do is you don't
bank robbery.
Bank robbery,
rape.
all of that stuff, cutting each other's tits off. Like, whenever you introduce something so, like, criminal in this case, like, that's a felony. Like, this person doesn't work here, you've just assaulted that person. Like, what happens from that? Kent made a good point when I've told you that we were watching it together. He said, if you understand the terms of the sandbox then you will always do well in OCW. And this is outside of the realms of the sandbox of OCW. This is just like daft shit. And daft shit doesn't get over in OCW. Daft shit doesn't give you any room to maneuver in OCW. Like, yeah, Ares came back from the dead, but that's like, there was a lot of like sort of bending over backwards to get into that situation. Whereas this situation, you've just shown you with your battered head, and you kind of fucked. So like, what do we do from here? Do we bring a gun next time? Are we shooting each other next time?
He
Like,
joins
what happens
DNS. He gets rebuilt.
Well,
Fuck.
We'll talk about Rust and Blacksmith later.
Oh, that's funny. Jimmy, you're up. Jesus.
I think on top of that, as a viewer, like if Sports Entertainment does this angle, they're gonna check on the person, and they're not gonna have the brick like in half and like all that gore and stuff like that, right? But like, there's no follow up on Claude whatsoever. So as a viewer, I'm like, what happened to him?
He did.
Like, what's going on here? Like, I don't know. At least tell me that he's okay, like, you know, or something like that, or at least he's getting medical treatment or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just was dropped there. When you have something that gory, I think that that's a requirement. I just, personally, I said to you in the Twitch chat, hey, police. Well, wasn't that exactly what I said?
I think you said police.
Yeah, I popped it.
Yes,
Police.
like that was a crime, and like I get that people think like the things that I do, maybe with Bash, bringing myself into it, are crimes, but they're like white collar crimes that like, or within the sandbox. Like, yeah, I hacked someone. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't injure somebody at that point, and even like, you know, injuries within the sand, like throwing someone through a table. That's one thing. I don't know. A brick to me, it's just not a wrestling weapon, especially when it goes in half, and we took bricks out of wrestling like a long time ago.
As long as they treat it correctly going forward,
I mean,
that's fine.
If not dead, brain damage. I don't fucking know. Hopefully it lives up to whatever, but it's just.
But what
like,
does this do for Cino?
It's
What does
fake.
this do for Cino?
It's kayfabe. So like you can get
He's
away with.
I'm fine.
We've done ridiculous nonsense shit before. Nonsense shit before.
Nonsense shit. There you go.
We've done non-shit
You really are
before.
drunk.
Yeah,
Good
you know what? I guess the blunt force trauma that got me all fucked up. We
But
haven't
what
done
does this do for Cino? Is
That's
my question. What does it do for
Hey,
Cino? Feuding with
it's a-
Claude and doing that.
Well, and I think all of the questions that we have right now are going to be answered on the follow-up. So
Hopefully,
we need to
Halloween,
what happens
baby.
there.
Yeah, Claude is miraculously saved by a metal plate in his head. I don't fucking know. Anyway,
Right.
I
And
mean,
now B17.
now B17 Marquise. Oh yes. I have this is one of my favorite matches of the night. Like I call it a palate cleanser. Fucking just nonstop fucking ass whooping. They were going back and forth. B17 still got it. You know, Jamie's Jamie. So it was fucking great. And these people know what they're doing. I know someone, I think maybe it was fucking Pugh, was like, oh, did I fucking use it? Did I cover when I finished it? I don't fucking know. But like right when you said that, it happened. And I think that's when the match is over. They were basically building up to a murder, like to a conclusion. And I think it did what it had to do. It was very hard hitting. It was very impactful. It was fucking fun to watch. They were just going back. Like it's at wrestling at its core, you just want something fun to watch. And this was fun to watch. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I don't know if it's my match of the night, but it's fucking up there. That's for damn sure. Fucking great shit, top to bottom. On that front, shout out to fucking Mark Reese. He won. I don't think B17's won on pay-per-view so far. Is that correct, Jake? I guess
Since he's come back.
Yeah,
Since
on
he's come back,
pay-per-view.
no.
On pay-per-view, yeah.
Since
So he's
come back,
doing
no.
like the fucking old man Cena arc, which is crazy to me. Seeing where he came from, but hey, it'd be like that sometimes. What are you gonna do, right? Fuck. So either way, even in defeat, he's fucking still a fucking champ in my eyes. So whatever. So we'll do you, Jimmy, then Pugh. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, this was an awesome match. This is one of my top 3 matches of the night for sure. I made a note here that Jay is really in his element on commentary. Like this is the match. Like if you want to go and I say Jay is an amazing color commentator, like this or I think there was another one later that we'll talk about, but this was an awesome example of that. I think he really leans into the characters that he's had enough exposure to have that connection with, and he just goes for it. Versus other matches that you will talk about later tonight where it's just me calling the shots and he's like, all right, fine. And he just mails it in. But this match, Jay is on. his best. This is amazing. Like, so many good quips, so many good comments. He's actively talking about the characters of B17 and all the history he has with them. It's very, very good. I like that a lot. Betting was open a very long. I don't know why I wrote that down, but betting was open.
I wrote
so
the same
long.
thing down. I wrote.
Yeah, did you?
There's some sort of insider trading going on.
God
Here. It was
damn,
so
bro!
long and it was so stacked.
Because I'm watching this because I knew I commentated on it, and I'm like, we're getting close to the finish here, and I'm like, the betting is still open. Betting is open.
I like
really
chaos.
long
I like
on this
chaos,
match.
too.
Daddy Bingo bankrupt, man. Daddy Bingo bankrupt.
The other notes I had here is that Bingo knows how to work. There's so
Yes.
many moments. There's a moment on the outside where he hits, because both of them, this whole match was King's Road bullshit. Like, they were just big move, big move, big move, big move. And they did a segment there where he hit him with like a German suplex. He picked him up and he hit him with a clothesline. And he sprinted around the ring to get in front of Hard Cam and then do the big like Bobby Roode like taunt. I'm like, oh, that's my guy right there. That's good shit. So he just knows how to make shit fun and wacky and whatever. And then I also made a note to make a point that, man, the fact that they built up like it was big move, big move, big move, big move, pin. Because I know I remember Dan posted in there like, why aren't they pinning? And it was like boom, 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 then pin. Whereas otherwise you would go for a pin after the first big boom. And then the fact that all of the big moves that we dealt with in this match led up to one finisher, one slaminator from Mark Reese to put him away was awesome. And as far as the post-match thing goes, I'm not going to blame him for being. I'm not going to like. No, that's fine. Just the nature of the what we're doing here in OCW. Like, it's not his fault that he was dressed the way he was, or whatever. He's a dirty fucking loser. He didn't shower. He just threw his jacket on and he came out and beat up Mark Reese because he lost. Fuck A-Mark forever. That's the only note I have. But the match was tremendous. And anybody who is new to OCW that wants to like see what a great OCW match is, this is good.
I got no fucking complaints on that one. Jimmy, you're up.
These guys have great chemistry. I can tell just watching the match,
yes.
You know, and like watching, you know, some of their other matches with other people, you know, and they're good all around. But like these two specifically, they really work off of each other really well. This really felt like I was so enthralled with it. It felt like I was watching a match in a WWE ring. The psychology behind it, the things that it went really well in my opinion. You know, and as far as the spots, I always love the bingo punch.
Yes.
And you know, the multiple pounces from Mark Reese.
Yes.
Were awesome. You know, just the back and forth, and Bingo, just his moveset and the shows of strength and some of the reversals and the way that they kind of finesse the situations to move things around. It was all around there. Both are extremely talented and very smart, and I've gotten to like work with a little bit with both in small capacities, and they're both very smart with what they do and kind of the way that they think about things. So, you know, overall, it was an awesome match. I love that they shook hands at the end as a viewer. I don't know what Mark Reese factors into. Maybe he's the next challenger for the championship. I don't know. I'm just reading in the tea leaves right now. Who knows? Amar just trying to go down and start beating guys up. I'm not sure where that goes from there. He just lost to Al Parka. Maybe it's just frustration, you know. Again, you know, maybe around Halloween we'll find out what that looks like. But I'm left probably with more questions from that than answers. Otherwise, you know, the match was probably, I'm going to say, the best match of the night, in my opinion. Just the way those guys work. And, you know, that's not taking away from any of the other matches. They're just fantastic.
Pew?
So I hated the handshake because I always hate handshakes in OCW matches. It was a palate cleanser. It was a really good match. Mark Reese is Jamie's best character, and by a country mile as well. Like, it's his best character. I mean, I've known Jamie for
a country mile, brother.
Fuck, dude.
Like, what have I known Jamie for at this point? Like, fucking 14, maybe 16, 17 years? Because I knew him before OCW as well. He was in a different Fed, and like, this is his best character. Period. Like, he's just better. B17's always good. They do the shit that other people don't do, like they fill in gaps in the match where ordinarily somebody might just stand still or do like a taunt or something, but they'll do something. They seize on opportunities. If something goes wrong, they know what to do. They know to dive on it and solve it. And it's just they're high level. Like, we know the high level. I didn't really write down anything bad. Oh, I wrote down Mark Reese is wearing white, which means he's getting colour, and he didn't get colour, so he ruined that for me. Yeah, the gambling was weird because it was on forever, and the A-Mart thing was the only thing that bugged me about the A-Mart thing. He must have had a feeling that it was going to be, his match was going to be before this match. Therefore, you've just been decimated, regardless of how big the distance is. So you've just spent 25 minutes getting beat pillar to post. You were fucked up. You should be in a nearby medical facility. You should not be coming back to that ring fully dressed, ready to fight again. Like, that is not what, for lack of a better word, jobbers should be doing.
You know what would have been funny if he would have showed up wearing like his trunks and some fucking flip flops.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
would have been. I would have fucking popped you with his jacket,
like a fucking
with his jacket,
patch over his eye, bandage over his eye, jacket, anything. But he just comes immaculately dressed.
This would be the first breakout here. But Dan, let me ask you this, and I know the answer to this question, but if he came out before the match, would it have made it any better? Because it's the same thing. Why are you punching up to Mark Reese before your match? You have no business anywhere near guys like Mark Reese and B17. So like, it's bad no matter what. That's where I come from. Because if it's a situation where Jay, he has to do what he has to do, we can't know the results of every match and like structure them in the way that a real booker could. But in this case, whether it's before the match or after the match, it's still nonsense. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. So I mean, like, I
agree with you completely on that. Like, yeah, we're gonna sit here and argue, well, not argue, but just agree on A-Mart the whole time, I think. But like, unfortunately at the moment, his level is it's Paul Pugh. It's someone lower down on the card. That's the reason he was on Ambition in the first place, is because that is his level. And elevate him all you want, but ultimately, like, if he can't hold his own in the ring, then he shouldn't be fighting the person that he's fighting. And we're going to see it again with Reese. Reese is going to run through him, and you can't just be a whipping boy. And that's coming straight for you. I think he's called Anthony in real life. Anthony, like, this is talking to you, the handler. Like,
send it on Twitter. He'll get it on Twitter. I don't think he'll get it here.
Don't let yourself be in that position. Like, there's no reason for you to be constantly getting beat, because you have to be a special kind of person to turn around constantly getting beat. Bobby Mineo did it, and that's because he's a fucking exceptional writer. It's hard. Like, it's really hard. If you aren't wrestling at your level, you're never going to get over. And that's
fair enough. What's the next segment on this?
The Iceman cometh, and boy, oh boy, I'm not going to say anything more than this. This motherfucker cuts promos better than 80%. Bro, I watch 14 hours of pro wrestling a week.
I know.
I watch every major company. This guy is so good. It is crazy that I tune into OCW, this EFED, and the Iceman gets me so fired the fuck up. It really is insane. I marked even a quote here. I'm not just a hard target. I'm hard to kill. Dig it. And I'm like, bro, I'm going to fucking jump out of my pants here. And I to be fair, I knew what was coming later on in the night, but goddamn, to recognize what happens in your match later and to build it earlier in the show, that's the kind of pro wrestling mindset that Iceman has that so many people don't have. I love this.
He does it
so
whether
much.
He wins or loses, though, which is why I appreciate
it. He does.
That.
And he does, and that's where he goes into the OCW side, but goddamn, this was, for this show, for this pacing, for the whole, if you just look at a Hard Target as a whole, this was a high point. I love this so much.
So on a meta level, I give props to Owen and fucking just basically Owen. And on a player level, I give props to definitely fucking Iceman, because Iceman. What?
Why are you giving props to Owen on Iceman's promo?
Well, because it's the same premise of something I'll talk about later. But it's just like in Iceman's case, he'll cut a same, not the same kind of promo, but he'll cut a promo regardless whether W or L. Fucking Pugh can attest. We come from a place where people will only do a promo or whatever if they win. With Iceman, you don't know, which is good. That's what we need, because certain people are not transparent. He is, which is a good thing. He went Ultimate Warrior in this. I never had a problem with Max promos. The only problem I have with him is that he fucking submits vertical, like, Instagram videos that I have to fucking fix and post, which annoys the shit out of me. So please fix that yourself.
You never complained about that with KD.
Huh?
So
Because I'm
Just
racist.
saying.
Because I'm racist, and I like Katie. I have to make. I have to.
As long as you admit it.
Fuck you.
That's all I want.
Fuck you. Someone's gonna clip that. I'm racist. I'm not racist. Fuck you. But no, I did it for KD, and I have to do it for KD. I don't have to do it because it's just a black bar. It grates me. For Mac, literally, I ran it on the stream, and it was just you would see everything else on the stream and the thing. I was like, fuck, because it was like 1080 by whatever. If anything,
Did you add the time the time codes and stuff?
Did I add the time
Like
codes?
what? Yeah, so and on it, it's like a vertical video, but like there's time codes in the top right. It's like 21. It's military time. It's like 21:50 whatever. There's like, do you know what I'm talking about?
I know.
You must not. You
no, I don't.
You
I
must
didn't-
not add. You must.
I didn't add that. I was probably a filter.
Oh,
maybe.
okay. If you didn't, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you did not add. Yeah, see, Iceman just said it's him. So yeah, okay, I appreciate that. Good shit, Iceman. You're the man.
Well, wow, relax. No, good. I didn't hate it. Good stuff. It's pro wrestling. It's less than 2 minutes. It fucking gets you fired up. And like I said, being Iceman, you don't know if it's W or L, so that's good to know. But betting said otherwise, which is crazy, but okay. So we will take it to Jimmy, then Pugh.
I literally jump out of my seat every time there is an Iceman promo. About like walking around like the living room. I got my wife and my kids looking at me like I'm crazy
Nice.
because I'm so hyped that there's an Iceman promo. I mean, Jake wasn't wrong, and I'll even build on this. Like, Iceman, the way he cuts a promo is old school WWF. Like, Vince McMahon would love this guy. like, you know what I mean? Like the old school style. As far from my perspective, so I really think he cuts probably the best promo in OCW, honestly, from a voice perspective.
It's not close.
He's
Yeah,
really
not gonna
great.
give KD his props, Jake.
No,
Well, I don't know.
No, even KD as well. No.
KD is great, but it's different, and Iceman is better at what he does than KD.
So
That's racist.
Iceman really just overall he brings it. Like the whole coordination. His attires are always great. With all of that stuff, all of it combined, he's just overall. Iceman is one of my favorites. I even said before Hard Target that like that was the thing I was looking forward to most, and I got an Iceman promo, and we got an Iceman match. So good day.
Pew, you're up.
First of all, he has excellent teeth. I mentioned it on the stream. Like
Yes.
those are some superlative gnashers.
Superlative
yeah.
Nashers.
Superlative Nashers. Oh my
It's,
goodness.
So British.
It's just Iceman doing. I mean, I've been critical in the past because he always does the same promo, but it works. So like, it's a wrestling promo. Like, what do you want? Like,
Do what
it's
you know.
better than all of the. Well, the thing is, like, I'm always critical of people who do the sort of like the big verbose. I mean, have you ever read a fucking H2O promo? Like, it's just nonsense and it goes on forever and it's words that people don't use in real life. Iceman talks like a wrestler, so like. And it's a real guy doing it, so he's blurring the lines of it. Like it's perfect. Like Jake said, it's not even close with anybody else who does voice promos or AI promos or anything. You feel Iceman is Iceman. Like there's no sort of question about it. He is that character, and
You gotta stop talking.
you can't say anything nicer about him because it's
Well,
we're blowing up his head now. He's gonna think
yeah,
he's the
no.
best
So
thing in the world.
you know what I can't tell him to do?
No, he's not that
You know what I
guy.
can't tell him? Buy a fucking Ethernet cord. But no.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy a fucking Ethernet. How about that?
Recording better than 144p.
Yeah, get yourself an Ethernet
That's
cord,
my only criticism.
Fucking guy. He's like, oh, thank you so much.
I thought I was
Get out of
having
my
some
face.
sort of episode when that match started because it's like the top of the frame was different to the bottom of the frame. It was
Yeah, for a second, it got a little
Did
dicey.
Spider
for a
record
second.
this shit?
Yeah, like what the fuck? I was like, is the stream acting up? Because the stream was acting up earlier. It's like, oh boy, stream starting to get. And stream always acts up like near Deborah's matches, which is fucking. It's just the way it works. It's fucking hilarious because it's been out for so long. But speaking of, then we have the actual match. Holy shit, really good match. I don't have the vernacular to get into like what specifically I liked about the match, but oddly enough, I don't know what the fuck, but apparently like Tony wasn't the favorite, which is weird. But I guess that's maybe us doing a good
insider
job.
trading.
Yeah, that's just us. That's us doing a good job selling the fucking selling the leg, brother. Sell the leg, brother. But no, it was a good fucking match. And the finish was very definitive and concise, and it's a good moment. Like it's been. I don't think Max ever won a title. I think the closest he got was Rust, and then
No,
Rust gave him
this
with
is
the
his
chili
first.
powder. So it's really
Not
good.
not just singles.
What sang
Both.
What do you mean both?
But I'm saying like usually this is his first singles title. No, this is his first title. Like it's such a journey. I'll talk about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's been, he hasn't won a title. He's, been in contention for a couple every now and again, but he's not that guy. So to see him grabbing it is cool. So like I said, buy a fucking Ethernet cable and the sky's the limit, I guess. The promos will continue, and I'm legitimately happy for Mac. I like Mac. He's a good dude. He's a little in his head every now and again, but he's really a solid dude. So I got nothing bad to say. Like I said, close your DMs. Because if you fucking show up with it,
fuck that nonsense.
Yeah, I can't wait for that fucking Elliot Parker, Nate Mac feud out of nowhere, right? Shoot, I'm sorry, I'm shit.
Fuck that noise. Yeah,
Miles going to be beating the fuck out of him next week.
Yeah. I hope so. Good. I hope he gets fucking. No one knew Amos's finisher, so I was like, I hope that's what he gets hit with. I don't know what it is.
I've called 3 of his matches.
I think what is it, 81 special, Jake? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's the 81 special, but like he doesn't hit it. So
I hope
why
he
would
hits it
anybody know it?
on Iceman. Break the ice, brother.
He
So
won't.
we'll do Pew. Fuck you. I'm being
superlative. You're undermining him by.
I'm not
this.
undermining him.
You are. You're
gave
treating him like
props.
a child. Don't close your DMs. Like don't talk to anybody. Let me book your matches for you.
I didn't say that.
Don't
you see that?
Don't do that to the guy.
Anyway, speaking of,
okay, I got this. Let me take this over. Let me go.
Then Jimmy, then Jay. Go ahead.
I'm going to start at the end because the end is basically, I was under the assumption that Tony Everett was this big, mean heel because that's what my storyline was with him, that he's going to be, this is the heel turn, this is him going full heel, this is him going like balls to the wall. At the end of the match, that didn't happen. At the end of the match, what he should have done was got back in that ring and fucking beamed him with a title or something because it would have kept both of them. That doesn't matter to Mac. Like, Mac's a champion now. He's always going to be the underdog guy, so fucking hit him with a title, you get out with your heat. Mac like still gets to be like, oh, I'm the underdog thing, I'm the underdog champion because that's what's going to happen going forward. But anyway, that's kind of neither here nor there. For the actual match, I put did you add the dig it in the introduction? Oh, did he add that?
I did
okay,
that.
Good. Right,
that was me.
I thought I was making that up.
Okay. No, I was leaning away. I was leaning away from the microphone, like letting it happen, and then I was just so fired up that I yelled it, and then it came through.
Okay, right, yeah. So it sounded like it was his audio. So
yeah, it did.
Because you were fucking so far away, you fucking mark.
I was so fired up.
You fucking mark.
I'm a huge mark. Fuck it.
Yeah, so I mean, I've said it like a million times. Tony's my favorite wrestler in OCW. Like Callum's great to work with. He's a solid character. I was shocked that he lost, but also like not really because I've heard things about Mike. I've only ever really had one interaction with Mac ever, and it was when I beat him in a sudden death match. I think it was. It might have been him. It might not have even been him. We didn't have an intense back and forth. It was very much like I just cut this fucking momentum out and then moved on with my life. And yeah, that's the only interaction I've had with him apart from his promos. So like, it was nice to see that he's come to a level where he can beat Tony because Tony's good. The only other thing I wrote down was electrical tape wrapped around his dick, which I assume means the attire. So if you go back and look at Tony's attire, he's got like padded silver tape around his balls, which was a strange choice.
It's an attire based on...
I don't care what it's from.
I know, Jesus Christ.
He's a man that earns a lot of money. He can afford to buy trunks that haven't got tears in them.
It's not duct tape.
They haven't got tears in them.
Oh, you fucking asshole.
But anyway, that's all I got.
Oh, fuck, Jimmy, you're up. Jesus, this fucking guy.
Funny. Oh, man.
He's toxic.
Listen, I think that we've been seeing for weeks that Tony's in kind of a position where he's looking to pivot. There's been a lot of friction with Kareem. The knee issue, as you saw, he came out with the knee taped up, from the from his previous encounters. I believe that happened, and aggravated it in the match against Rex before we went to London. And overall, I just think that this was kind of coming. The momentum with Nate Mac has been swelling for a while. He had that really great match with Rex where he came up just short.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this match was really good overall, the way it paced out. It was very back and forth. Nate looked like he was in the match, even though he was the underdog, obviously, as you saw in the betting and all of that stuff. And, again, I said in the show discussion chat, this was the guy I wanted to win. This is the one I wanted to see tonight. So personally, I am excited for Nate Mac. I want to see what he's going to do with it. With the international championship and the, kind of the platform that he has now, it's an exciting thing, and hopefully he takes it to the moon.
You've been waiting, Jake. Go for it.
I've been waiting. Yeah.
Slithering
So
like
this
a
is
viper.
far and away the moment of the night. This is it. Like, bro, goddamn. And I did make I put it in parentheses next to that. I put bias. And the reason I typed that is because I've seen Max rise from when he first joined OCW and he had Leo Grimm. And everybody's like, this ain't going to work. You can't be a big spooky heel when you can't predict the finish of your match. And then he actually competed with Leo Grimm for like months. And then after that, instead of being promoted, he said, fuck it. I'm bringing this other guy in. And it's the Iceman Nate Mack. And he's doing these in-person promos. And he's just him. And everything he's done up to this point has been it's felt to me so organic and so fresh and so fun. And like the whole build from 2019 when this fucking guy showed up 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago.
It's been 4 years ago? Jesus.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Almost 5 years ago at this point.
Wow.
And this guy, he's gone through Lucian losses with the chili powder, and he's gone through so many title losses. And Jim brought up a great point with Rex. He's gone through so many rough moments. This is why I love that they were building up like this is the Max night. Everything they've gone through, the John Carter bullshit, their wedding, their potential divorce, like everything. And like both of them have massive title matches tonight. And for this to happen, it was so great. And I also made notes for Tony here because Tony, I don't think any of us on this post-show pod can contest. This is the single greatest international championship run of all time. Tony did wonders for Tony. Dan said that Callum is his favorite wrestler. Like I was with him before even Dan popped his head in and made him a world champion. Motherfucker, bro.
Did you
all
just
of
get
them
him
are
confused?
Yeah, that's the wrong one. You got
the wrong
twin.
kids, the wrong
No,
twins.
I didn't get him confused. He just takes credit for both of them, and I'm just making sure that we're clear on that.
That's a really good goalpost
Yeah,
switch.
yeah.
Good look. That's a pro
It's
move.
It's not.
That's
It's
a
not.
pro move.
No, he did it with Doc, but he does it now. Like if we talk about it in chat, he's gonna be like, "I made the uncrowned," and it's like, whatever.
Wow.
No, you didn't. Me and Russ were there
If I can
first.
break out at this moment.
You can.
Basically, when this happened, when Callum fought Kent and I fought Adam, it was basically a coin toss. Like you are right. Like it was a coin toss. We were taking one each, and that was it. So like, I mean, you're not wrong. We did make them, if we're being honest.
Don't say
I'll
he's
allow
right.
you that.
No, but I was involved in those conversations, so I
exactly,
understand. Yeah, I know, I know. But both of them ended up as champions. Like, say what you will, like Doc becoming world champion at that stage I'm not going to say it made him. He was always going to be great.
Well. He did break
yes,
FPR.
he broke. I was super fucking pissed about that, but that's a
You were so pissed that you told me off about it, and I wasn't even involved in the breaking of the FPR.
I was so mad. But anyway, but even with that, the other side, Callum, Antonio Everett, pinned Drago Caesar at Certified Greatness while Drago was on his open challenge light heavyweight thing. So it was like a dual crowning. Both of them were made on the same time, and it was because of the efforts of Dan and behind the scenes, like pulling them forward. So that's what I mean in general. That's besides the point entirely.
Okay.
It's a lot of words for story I got mixed up.
It is. Back to the show. I had it written down that this is as pure pro wrestling as it gets. Tony took the international championship in an awesome story with Claudio Stardom. He returned. It was a big deal. He was the longest reigning CCW champion of all time. He came back. He took the international championship, and he brought it to heights that were crazy. Like, this could have main evented. Like, that's how big a deal this was. And the reason that this was such a big deal is because Tony brought it to that level, and he found somebody in the Iceman that was perfect for this situation to take it from him. And that is what I wrote on my later note, that I'm so happy he did not hit him with the belt. That's where the first disagreement of the pod is when Dan's like, oh, he's supposed to be the heel. But why? But no, I love that he did not do the heel thing, because we've gone through it already. We've been through 4 years of this bullshit already with the Iceman. So to delay it longer would have frustrated me greatly. It really would have. So the fact that he took the title from Kareem, because they've had their own dissension with the whole thing, and the whole international title lead up to this, and he gave it to the Iceman. It was a crowning moment. I don't care if Iceman loses it on Halloween Turmoil. This is the moment of the night, one of the biggest moments of the year. I was super happy to see it. And I mean, shit, Tony can do whatever he wants. He's going to be a star no matter what. And it's because of shit like this that he can be that kind of star, because he's willing to do shit like that. Like, I don't know, man. It was the moment of the night, not the match of the night, but the moment of the night for me.
That's a good precursor. We did Jimmy, right? Or we didn't skip Jimmy, right?
Yes. No, I went last.
Okay. What's the next one?
Bash continues to have I'm just going to read my notes. Bash continues to have a great presence on the show. The Luis Bishop angle continues with a big reveal.
Wait, you're going ahead because it was Jinx. We didn't talk about Jinx.
Did I skip Jinx?
You skipped Jinx.
You did skip Jinx.
But that was before Mac and Tony, actually, if I hit Control Z. So,
okay.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're wrong, Sensation. Okay, so we can break
were
down
both
Jinx,
wrong.
but I got
okay. So let's do Jinx first. I'll do Jinx first.
So wait, hold up. It's you, Jimmy. Actually, it's you, Pugh, then Jimmy. I'll be right back. I have to use the facilities. Okay. Go for it.
Perfect. So I don't have much to say about this. Jinx promo got him on the show, added emphasis to his feud with Paul Harris ahead of their match. Like, they're building it, and they're giving more reason to watch it on next Friday's show by getting themselves on the pay-per-view. This is what you want to see from rookies, right? When Jay posts that little blurb at the bottom of every card back in the day before everything was streamed and everything was 100% publicized, that's what I went off of. Like, if you're not booked on this, if you're a rookie, if you're this or that, please feel free to submit content. This is what Jinx did here, and I appreciate that. For any other reason than that you can come up with, like, Jinx he has a presence, so I appreciate it. It's not a big deal. It is what it is. Go ahead, Jim.
I guess I'll go this. As far as Jinx is concerned, I think it furthered the feud with Harris, like you said. If you're really looking at, kind of reading the tea leaves with the things that have happened already, as far as Paul Harris having conversations with Cody Hagan on previous shows. I mean, they've got Luis Bishop, who's aligned with Cody Hagan right now. So they kind of have like a little anti-DNS guy got your back type of thing going on right now. So we'll have to see how that progresses. So, that's basically what I'll say about it.
Dan?
Cass basically has my sentiment in the chat, which was it could have been a written promo. I get that people want to be involved in like the video element of it, but like it could have, I don't know, it didn't do a lot. One thing I did write down was, why are there so many Pauls in OCW? I've been the only Paul for 17 years, and suddenly everyone in OCW is called Paul. There's Dave, there's Andrew, there's Carl, there's all these names that you can take, and you've all come for Paul at the same time.
You're a tastemaker, you know that.
Well, yeah, that is the case, but yeah. So I mean, it's not anything against Jinx. Like, one of Jinx's problems is that his character does have like a visual element to it that you might lose and when you've read some of his like written promos, you do lose that. It does, you lose Jinx if you don't have the visual of Jinx. So it's kind of like a catch-22 situation. Like, it was a very short promo, but also like, if you don't see Jinx, then you lose a lot of Jinx. So he's painted himself into a corner. So he kind of does have to do visual stuff quite a lot. But it was on the show, so whatever.
Yeah.
You can't just have match. So
right, exactly right, and that part is especially what I wanted to point to, is that you can't just do match. So shit like that breaks it up, and if shit like this doesn't overstay its welcome, which Jinx did not, then it's okay by me. And Pugh said it like perfectly. This is the kind of character that's like great for visualization. He's doing his thing. Cass is right. It absolutely could have just been an RP, but I'm not going to listen to that from somebody who doesn't read the RPs anyway. So
also, Cass is all about the visual because his whole thing is his spooky guy.
Exactly right.
Cass is kind of like Cass is sort of like the prototype of what Jinx is. So yeah,
he really was, because remember he didn't want to fucking role play for like when he fucking joined.
Cass when he first came into OCW, could not
Cass
use 2 words.
But yeah, before we move on, I will say Cass and Empress put it in later. That part is right. You could just shorten the entrance. Like if you're gonna do a promo anyway, and there's not gonna be any like action or anything, just cut it at the ramp. Like do your initial thing, and then once you hit like midway through the ramp, just cut to the ring, because you don't need to do the whole going into the ring or whatever, unless it's like a brand new debut of a gimmick or you're changing instrumentally. But we know who Jinx is, so like do your initial entrance, hit like halfway through the ramp, and then cut to the promo. You don't need to do the
Jimmy go or no?
He did.
Oh, okay. So I'll go real quick.
But he
what?
Said some really racist shit.
Oh, he did? That's not right, Jimmy. He cut the shit.
He did. He said the N-word while you were gone.
This motherfucker. Yep, totally. Fucking Yakubians. Anyway,
that's fucked up, Jim.
Hey, Jinx works hard, man.
Regarding regardless, okay, so the Jinx promo. So I sent Jimmy a tell yesterday, or yeah, I think it was yesterday. I don't hate DNS, but this if and or after is driving me fucking banana. So basically there's two, spoiler alert, there's 2 role plays, which is fine, great, good, we need stuff, and then there's one related to it, and then there's 2 videos. You saw the DNS whatever. So the role what the fuck was the order? The role plays go after the video, but the videos are like in the middle of the show, so that means that they have to go towards the middle, towards the end. It's like no.
Yeah,
please, this is the thing. Okay, sorry. Now I'm gonna do the DNS rant. I don't hate DNS. I like DNS. I like the fact that they're all old people like me, and
they don't know. They don't know your system. So this is a perfect opportunity.
They're competent at their jobs, so which is good enough. So the jinxing, like I said, well, like people said, it could have been text, which is whatever. If you want to do visual, be visual. It wasn't long, so I don't give a fuck either, whether it's text or whatever. As long as it's not long, I'm not held hostage. I feel great. My thing is, there's so many of y'all, it gets kind of crazy putting shows together, because it's like y'all like right next to each other. Or if you notice, this was a sandwich. That's why we missed it. It was Jinx match, then the other 2. So like what I would suggest, maybe eventually when you guys get a little more compact, or as they say in the corporate world, streamlined, till then, like maybe if you all got shit to say, I can all come out together, say your piece, and then fuck off. Like Jinx could have came out with you and cut that promo. He could have came out with Omen and Bash and cut that little side promo too, while Louis getting his ass whooped for being whatever for pay with Dillinger. I digress. We'll talk about that later. So it's stuff like that. Like everyone's being individual, which is fine, but when you're all individuals within a faction, it's like, then that's why don't be in the faction to begin with. Like I think Pugh said Jinx could be like the guy, the solo dude. Right now he's the 3rd guy. Like the way I see DNS in my head is basically Bash, Omen's the muscle, and then Bolek is the fucking like the young guy, right? And then that's them. And then he's the guy that comes in, or the rogue scout or whatever. And then like Dog is the fucking like the ace, I guess. But you have all these different factors. It's not bad. It's just it gets convoluted, and putting the show together sometimes fucking annoys me. It's not really y'all fault, but it's just you have to like think of a simpler way. If you all got shit to say, you might as well take an extra minute, come out all together, and fucking cut a promo. Jinx talks about fuck Paul Harris. Omen like makes noises. Bash does the robot voice and fucking fuck off Lewis Bishop, and Pat talk about bitches. I don't fucking know. And then Bolek's like, I'm the best. Fuck it, do evolution, whatever. You get what I'm saying? Like consolidate, so it's not fucking whatever. But I appreciate the effort, and I'm not gonna knock the effort either. Cause that's the thing. Like we've had fucking rookies who are fucking useless. Y'all not useless. It's just we're at a stage now where we can be picky and be like, hey, let's make this more consistent and concise and fucking digestible, I guess. Am I out of line, Jake? Because you're the one that fucking
no. But the only thing that I'll say is that that they have heard the opposite.
I know, probably for people like you.
No, not me, but just other people are like, oh, you're all just DNS. You're not doing individual things. So
no, they are. That's the issue.
No, but in my mind, they are trying to do different things, but then they hear feedback that is like, "Oh, you're all just DNS. You're all just doing the same thing." So then they try and do different things and try and do their
And then
own
they hear from me,
isolated
you
thing,
guys are all
and then they
fucking
hear from
different.
you.
So
Exactly.
here's the thing. So like you say, you like, make the boss pop. The boss is telling you, be a fucking unit, to come together as a unit, be the fucking dogs of war, and even though you have your own separate things, do them all at the same time. So like I said, if you all come out together, you all, fucking Jinx takes 10, 15 seconds, Omen grunts, fucking Boleg maybe takes longer because he's a younger guy, so he's like, I'm so pretty or whatever. Fucking Dog does whatever Dog does. Bash is the leader, and that's it. DNS should work the following. DNS should be a structure system where everybody has to work to get to Bash. Like, I want someone to come in, right, and they have to go through everybody at DNS and then get to Bash, which may or may not be a walk in the park, but that's how it's supposed to be. I think they're trying that with Cody. I'm not sure. It's not a bad thing, but it's just
Yeah,
like,
but,
so that was the idea there. I didn't expect to get a Riot match against him so quickly, so that kind of changed the plan a little bit
lol.
on that end. But that's okay. You pivot. That's the world we live in, and you sign the virtual paychecks, Jay. So whatever you want, boss, is what it comes down to.
No, don't pander to him like that.
See, you say that.
Here is the situation. So listen. As somebody who was in the Dogs of War that you just mentioned.
Wow.
So it was built exactly like that. There was 5 people in the Dogs of War. Actually, was there 4 people in Dogs of War? It doesn't matter. We would all come to the ring together. We would do our little bits. We would all go home. But we still had feuds around that. But our group stuff together was all together. So like, if we had a promo on the show, then we would all mention our feuds in that promo.
Yeah,
because it made sense.
That's what I just said.
And that was in sort of like, I'd sort of lost in the shuffle situation where there was a lot of characters and a lot of people. You haven't got that now, so like, and also not to be like, oh, come and do it on Ambition, but do whatever the fuck you want on Ambition. It's desperate for content, and that's set up perfectly for you guys to come and do content. Like, we don't have the same sort of like the same requirements because there's not as many people on Ambition, so you can make it your own. That's why I sort of went, go and do a show. Like, I basically put myself out of action so you guys could have that whole show that time, and it worked out really well. And I think that like, you're not the same stable as like many stables before you because of you're all so unique within the sort of DNS structure that the rules aren't the same for you, but also like because of that you can't just like have a million things on the show because everyone will get sick of DNS. And we're at a point where people
it's a meme, and I don't want you guys to be a fucking meme.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's not that you're doing anything wrong because you're doing quite the opposite. You're doing everything right.
I mean, you're
showing up and you're doing
there's
shit.
Like, for all that bullshit that I'm fucking saying, you guys are still showing up and doing shit. There's people that have been here for fucking like 6 years who kind of just, and then fucking hop around and be like, no, you're not. Shut up. So, doing what you need to do is just, you got to make it cleaner. So my sanity, because.
And then from a content standpoint and not just a handler standpoint, I vehemently deny any of these connections to Dennis Dillinger, and anybody who wants to talk to me about it can contact me.
So here's a fun fact. Here's a fun fact about DNS. Generally, like, I actually know what they're like, not know what they're doing, but I kind of like get the gist of what's happening with them, which is very rare because some people have these overarching fucking gigantic storylines where my feeble brain can't comprehend or keep up with. So I like know the motivations of what's happening for most of DNS, which is, a good thing because that means that they're doing their job. It's just, it's being saturated it's kind of being oversaturated. So keep it simple and keep it concise. Even if that means 1 or 2 segments, that's fine. But y'all have to sit there on a fucking dock and work together as opposed to everyone doing their own thing and then me having to kind of figure out where the fuck everything goes, which is annoying. Sorry, but that's my thing. So we covered the Jinx segment. We did the Tony Everett. Now we have the follow up, right? The one with Omen and the Amish and which great touch by the way, and Cody and Bishop. Yes, that's the one that we got to cover now. Yes.
Yes.
It's interesting. It's a different like. So the joke we had, and we'll do Jake, then Pugh, then Jimmy again because of the DNS segment. I like this idea because the joke that I always make or whatever is that fucking everybody knows he's independently wealthy. So the fact that someone might get jammed up financially and then motherfuckers start going poor, that would be the shit. If fucking enterprises get all fucked up because because Dillinger's investing in fucking Kulo coin or some shit, or Marissa's fucking NFTs or some shit like that. Oh, that'd be great. But whatever, I digress. Good. I like it. I like inclusion of Cody and his fucking wild ass, and the thing with Bishop is good. Is good to see. Bishop is a fucking fantastic handler. Cody needs guidance, so that's a good ambition feud that can be built upon, and I actually look forward to it. It has a nice overarching story with DNS. Like it was a couple weeks ago. It was like DNS versus fucking everybody. It became more convoluted, so now it's actually being narrowed down to like 1 or 2 to 3 targets. So they have like a focus. So that's a good thing to see. So we'll do, I guess, fuck it. We'll do Pew, then Jake, then Jimmy. Pew, you're up.
The problem with DNS a couple of weeks ago was that everybody, they were getting praise, so then automatically like the fucking flies start circling around the shit, which is like, I mean, that's what's going to happen in OCW. DNS aren't doing anything particularly bad. They're just like doing a lot, and like I'm struggling to keep up with a lot of it, and I'm also struggling to like, from a purely selfish point of view, booking Ambition is a fucking nightmare because like I'm supposed to be booking all of you against each other and you're all together. So what do I do now? Yeah, exactly. Like Bolek's just joined now. I was saying Bolek's the best rookie in 15 years. Bolek's trash. He's garbage. I'm sick of that person.
You could have did like that. That could have been a great fucking arc. It could have been Bolek versus fucking DNS. You could have ran that for like fucking 3 to 6 months. Yeah. Like overcoming the odds or trying to fucking the plucky.
But you don't get to book it, and that's not what happens. So fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Off. What's wrong with you, asshole? Go ahead, continue.
It doesn't matter. It's insignificant. The actual promo was like fine, whatever. You got everyone involved and you did what you needed to do, and it's going to move on to something else. As Jay will tell you, I fucking hate doing promos on pay-per-views that start a story. I've always have done, or not start, but kind of if you've not got a match on the pay-per-view, then don't be on the pay-per-view. Is always my attitude towards it. Like if you're not selling something that's on the pay-per-view, but again, we need stuff that isn't just matches, so like it built something, so like can't be mad about it. Like everyone got involved, so cool.
Jake, you're up.
Yes. No, don't. I mean, OCW is at its best when people have creative liberty to do with whatever they want. Give feedback on what happens. Don't tell them what they should do, especially when you're the boss of the company, because that's bullshit. So don't do that.
Could do.
Yeah, no, but you're saying, oh, in my eyes, a faction is this and that, whatever. We have had that disagreement before, and we'll have it many times over again. The whole DNS thing, I think it is fine that they're going for it. I didn't agree with Bolek joining in the beginning as well. I was surprised to see it, but it is what it is. I am a fan of the anti-DNS conglomerate kind of coming together because that's naturally what would happen if all of these people, especially if Bolek is joining them, more people will be like, oh shit, we got to figure out what to do with this. But as far as Hard Target is concerned, what are we talking about?
No, we're talking about what fucking happened with them. I'm saying it was a fucking good. I like where it's going, and I'm interested to see what the fuck happens. I'm hoping Dillinger gets poor for fucking investing in Marissa's NFTs through the fucking DNS. They found out.
Did you genuinely forget what you were talking about?
I really did. I
really spoke about
you guys have been talking about where DNS should go and what they should do and what they should be.
No, literally.
I totally lost track.
We literally.
So yeah. Okay. So let's get on. Let's get back on track here. I really enjoyed this. They built it up. Like they posted the promo room segment. They're like, we're going to reveal this thing. Like they made it a big deal, and then they delivered. They really did. They delivered. I'm not going to comment on any of the Dillinger stuff. That's going to be tied up in court. None of that is real. I don't know about that. But I am a fan of the general anti-DNS conglomerate really like tying up together and trying to like bring them down. We've seen this before many times, not just in real life, but in OCW. Like we just had Castianity versus Team OCW, but it was so different. This is a much different thing. Even DNS just had this thing with the collective, so it makes sense for somebody to stand up against DNS, and the way that they did this now to use this Luis Bishop thing as a weapon was good. It broke up the matches. I feel like we haven't talked about a fucking match in an hour and a half.
It's only been 20 minutes, and we're getting to a match right after the segment.
Okay, but I am a fan of what DNS is doing right now, and hopefully they continue their presence. That's all I got. I don't
know. Jimmy, you're up. Anything to add?
All right. So the idea was kind of a preacher idea, as you can hear in the promo. That's why Bash dressed up like he looked like he was Amish.
Loved it.
Credit to my wife who helped me
He
dress.
was on Rumspringa. He looks excellent.
We'll give her credit. But overall, I think you guys have some great points, and I think through the advice that everybody's given me, it's about narrowing focuses and trying to act more as a unit, and just through the kind of some of the commentary, and that's kind of all I'll really say about it. Luis Max was really big in terms of the way that segment played out. Did some great work on it. I wanted to shout him out, and it's just overall great time working with them, and good stuff.
He's fucking like a mini Daniel Mamau Lewis, or Daniel Day Lewis if you're nasty. So I know he's very specific about his segments. So yeah, good shit. So now we have, if I'm correct, Jake Allen, it's the Empress
Him versus Heather.
I think this is my my hype video of the night, and it's because I'm biased, not really, but because number one, it hit all its beats. Number two, it was on the beat, and number three, it was succinct. So like it kind of just you got the idea, you got the story, you got everything, and that shit was done in like 2 minutes, like in and out. So, and it was very exciting. I like that. The match itself, I don't know if it's really a match. Someone got fucking brained earlier, and now someone has gone through the fucking stage. So we're on a roll in this company. That's gonna be fun writing the fucking press releases tomorrow. But yeah, it's not really a match. I thought that someone like Max or even Jake would be like, wait, where's Empress's tattoos? But nobody caught. I fucking caught it, which is weird because I don't catch anything. So when she kind of like, wait, that's fishnet, but I don't see no tattoos. That's peculiar. What's this about? Is something broken? And then when it happens, like, oh shit. And then if I have one complaint about like the whole ship package, it's from a producer level. Like I would have gave Empress a reason to climb as opposed to just climbing. Like basically once Furiosa did the fucking Undertaker thing, Empress just said fuck that and climbed up, as opposed to fucking knocking the chimichangas out and then climbing. But that's a mini thing. Nothing fucking incredibly produced. I know that shit was a lot of work. Visually appealing, fucking fantastic, carnage, chaos, confusion, and it just adds to the story that we're doing, which I ain't gonna say shit about, but I don't know, I got nothing to say. It's not really a match, but it was fucking fantastic. I think that would be like my thing of the night. Jake's was Max winning, which is pretty good, but I think this was because it's a fucking shock and awe. Just the fact that like, I don't think that would be possible, but it was, and then it gave us this whole opportunity to fucking fill about 3 minutes of time while the stage is rebuilt. And shout out to Jake for adding an extra 35 fucking seconds to the chaos. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it a lot. One of my things of the fucking night, and I'm sure that's gonna be on fucking highlight reels for years to come. We'll do Jake, Jimmy, then Pugh. Jake, you're up.
Yeah, it was insane. It really was. I agree with you, Jay. It was the high package of the night. Empress is fucking so good. I mean, she does this professionally at this point. It's
weird how talented her stupid ass is.
It's unbelievable. And like the song choice initially like perturbed me. I'm like, what is this? Like,
yeah, right.
Thing. But then after it started playing and I realized what was happening to my body, I'm like, okay, I'm here for it. As far as you thinking that you have some kind of like I don't know, there's no, and I've even gone back and looked at it now, there's no point in this presentation of Kamehahata's entrance that you would be like, okay, this is not Empress. There's no, because her whole upper body is covered in fur and gear,
fishnets,
and you can't even see her lower body. And even if you can, it's like covered up to the point where you couldn't see the tattoos. So you're bullshitting if you think that you actually thought that was not Empress.
I hate
if you thought
when you do this.
If you thought it wasn't, like, just initially from a storyline perspective, like, oh, she's gonna do some bullshit.
Oh, I didn't know she was gonna do some bullshit. I'm like, this is weird. Where are her tattoos?
Yeah, but there's no tattoos to see. So if you thought that, then you're wrong in a different way, which is weird. Anyway, it was a super fun surprise to see the big pop out and Cameo being the reveal. I thought it was very, very well produced because I had no fucking idea, and there was no visual way to know, despite what Jay will tell you. The whole brawl on the stage was incredible. The way that this whole thing was produced was so perfect. I did add a little bit to the end to try and make it a little bit more, real, because Jay and I, and we'll talk about this next time, Jay and I went out of our way during the Perfect Storm Believers match to be like, oh shit, we're still recovering from this. So we tried to keep the continuity there. They did a great job already of building in stuff to make it hard to get away from it. And the Believers Perfect Storm match was a great bridge to the second half of the show after this. My main gripe is that in the hype package, which I loved, was my favorite of the night, the dumb bitch, Olivia, bro, I called a 15-minute Summerside match that you did not submit. And then not only that, you're like, oh, it's just a thing. I wanted to make it real. Whatever. And then for Hard Target, I'm ready for this match. And then you submit a hype package. You included clips from the Summerside match that Jay and I called that never made air. And nobody knows what that's from. They all think it's like you just recorded random shit. No, that's a real fucking match you had that you did not submit. It was a weird thing. I was super fucking pissed that you did that, and I was also very impressed. I don't know even how to explain what I'm feeling, but I'm very angry with you, and you're a dumb bitch. But you're so talented. You're amazing. The fact that you were able to create this incredible sports entertainment phenomenon was amazing, and Jay deserves all the credit in the world for perfectly positioning some of the segments in between this. I'll just do this part here. In between this part, because this was the clear midsection of the show before we got to the second half. Jay did a phenomenal job of building in stuff in there. It was a spectacle for sure. That's what you would grow to expect from Empress stuff. And if we don't get this Furiosa Empress feud match, I'll kill you. I'll come to Oregon, wherever you live. I'll find you and I'll kill you.
Trying to dox Olivia? Relax, baby.
Yeah, I will. Bro, stop leading me on.
Stop it.
It's got that woman thrown off Twitch.
You're right. You're gonna get us thrown off Twitch, you fucking psycho. Jimmy, you're up.
Calm down, Jake.
Calm down, Jake. Calm down.
Yeah, relax.
Settle down, big fella.
Dude, when I saw the Summerside footage, I had to mute my mic. I'm just saying. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, obviously I didn't know.
Settle down, big fella.
Amp does great stuff. DNS worked with them, on the collective stuff, and the production behind that is obviously unique compared to most of the stuff you see in OCW. It's very well produced. It's over the top. It's amazing work, right? I do have to say, I love the segment. Furiosa looks great in green, was my comment in the voice party.
Don't you dare.
First.
But overall, excellent segment. I gotta wonder about Furiosa's condition, so I'd love to see some type of update on what's going on there and what's going to happen with both C-Note and Emp at this point. So I'm very awaiting those press releases.
Oh, they'll be up probably tomorrow. Tonight, I'm probably gonna fucking fall into a coma.
Okay, well,
we sold it.
Before football, I'll be watching for them, or maybe during football.
Yeah, there's a couple press releases that are fucking coming out. I gotta fucking do. Danny boy.
So sorry, I zoned out then. The hype. I mean, there was a significant step in presentation at this point.
You mentioned that too.
Yeah, it just was better. The hype was better. The entrance was both entrances were just whether it was Emp or not doesn't matter. They were both the entrances of big time wrestlers. That's what it felt like. Then there's something. Blood Feud went up in the top corner, which is all this hack, and I hate it. I hate hashtags on things to tell me what I'm supposed to tweet. But apart from that, there was a technicality to this that you don't see in OCW promos often. There was not in the way that it was edited or anything, but in the way that it was built. So there was chaos, and there was energy, and there was sort of an urgency to everything happening. You, as a viewer, were not allowed to focus on anything for too long because it was gone. It was given to you, it was gone. It was given to you, it was gone. And that helps a lot of OCW promos. I've said it in the past, or not promos, but action stuff suffers from like the game looks quite plodding, and the game can look a little bit janky, and this didn't. It was just where I don't know if she sped footage up. I don't know what she did to kind of make it happen, but there was no
Jake would know.
There was no like. I'll use an example from last week. Rex and Doc, they were locking up before they were doing moves, and when they were putting each other or trying to put each other through tables. And I understand that that's the mechanic of the game, but you can hide that shit. You can switch camera angles. You can do stuff to disguise it, and Emp did it perfectly here. Like this wasn't an OCW like promo. This was like just hired. Like this was. Does anyone know remember Machinima, when Machinima was a thing when people were using fucking Halo 3 to make action movies? Like it was like that. It was perfect. And you know, she's the best at what she does. I just wrote in big letters, yes.
Yeah,
I
saw
like, that was my note.
You should put that on the fucking thing, because I saw that freaking made me laugh huge. Your fucking
just
notes.
Like,
yes.
It was the best. It wasn't my moment of the night. That comes later, but it was certainly like to this point, it was the best moment of this card.
Fair enough. It was really well done. So in this case, I don't. You have something to add, Jake?
No, I just said halfway down.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like, I think it might be murder, but I'm not sure. But like,
it was in the confines of the sandbox.
So
because we've seen that happen in real life.
Yeah, exactly. And there was no blood. It was just a lot of. The thing is, I wanted to play on the sirens. Like I wanted to do a press release today, but I didn't have time about extra security and whatever. But I guess whatever. That's just me being a fucking banal asshole. But yeah, no, good shit.
Well, compared to the earlier thing, we sold it, right?
We sold it,
and not we, because it was Empress. Like they sold it. They sold it. That's what made it work.
That bitch is in trouble. Stern talking to Hoot. What's next?
Believers. Well, I already commented on your amazing work to put all of the advertisements and make this show feel like a real show, because you advertised. I think between this segment and the hype package, you averaged Halloween Turmoil, you advertised the 19th anniversary show, and you advertised the Animal House 2 show. And whoever put that Animal House 2 show together, is, if I have to fucking guess, Olivia
Toshingham.
Amazing job. Like unbelievable. I can't wait for that show. It's going to be super fun. But yes, next is the Lucha Rules tag match.
Lucha Rules tag match. So oddly enough, had to do the whole thing about playing it off, and oddly enough, I wasn't mean to Deaver, so give me points. No, I liked the match. It was good. It was very good. The end was a little funny because of what happened, but the way we got to the ending is what got me the most. Like Che, see, the funny thing about Che. Che as a handler is phenomenal on her female alts. All three of them are fucking great. I mean, probably four. I don't fucking know at this point. So many. They're all like just really fucking good. And I actually like Che is in that almost Russ Cole category where Che can be booked. I'm like, that's gonna be a good fucking match. Like that's a good place to be, where I'm like, I'm looking forward to this because I know Che is going to give me a good fucking match. And it takes two to tango, but I know that if Che is in there, it's 50% a 50% shot that it's gonna be fucking. So far so good. Chris Green, not so much with that. It's not that Chris Green's bad, it's just like it's the perennial underdog. Jake actually brought this up to me when we had our post comment discussion. This whole thing was, Perfect Storm being untouchable assholes for months on end or whatever, how long it was, and then finally getting one up by the underdogs. So that's cool. Yeah, it wasn't a bad. It was succinct too. It wasn't super long. It was fucking 11 minutes. A lot of hard-hitting action. The finish was hilarious because, again, like I was saying with Che whipped out a fucking Harvey. So Quartz had to come in. So he came in, got cracked. So I don't really know what to say. I didn't hate the match. I actually quite enjoyed the match, and it didn't overstay its welcome. And it's a big win for the fucking for the Believers, who actually. I don't remember the gambling on that, but I'm gonna venture to guess that it was one-sided towards Perfect Storm. Am I right, Jay?
Huge underdog.
Okay, good. So that made me happy. Then I'm glad motherfuckers got broke. I hate that shit. Insider trading, motherfuckers. I don't trust none of y'all. But we'll do Jimmy Pugh than Jay because he was in the match. So Jimmy, you're up. And we're making good time. Go ahead.
I really enjoyed the match. The Lucha Rules was really an interesting touch, an interesting stipulation that Perfect Storm pick after DNS beat the Believers, and then they beat, I believe it was Mass Effect, right? Or was it Garden Glory? It's one of those two teams in their match to win the stipulation, right? So the Lucha Rules with the getting thrown out of the ring, I had never seen that before. So I'd like to see more of it personally.
We got the bigger version. Sorry to cut you off. We got a bigger version that I'm sure Jake will send you after this. I call it Lucha. I call it the Lucha Fuck Party, but this is a smaller version.
We're not
continue.
We're not innovators of this rule set.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Whatever. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jimmy. Continue.
Well, yeah, I've never seen it in this context, and it's really cool. I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was back and forth, and I think this is really a big chance for Joe Deaver to have his moment, his kind of like big come up, and he hit the finisher, got the win. Like, this is his springboard, right, to try and go and do the things he wants, you know. So now it's up to him to really put in the work and then get to the next level, right? I personally have history with him in terms of, you know, how DNS started and all that stuff. So, but I'm rooting for him, right? You know, like, to get to that next level. So I think this does that for him, and if he needs to take it from here, and he needs to take the ball and run with it. And I'm rooting for him.
Pugh? Daniel? I don't know what the fuck to call you, whatever your name is.
What?
Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, Lucha Rules was actually innovated on Ambition.
Oh, fuck off.
But you didn't know that.
He's right. He's fucking right.
Don't yell at me. Yo, you need to relax.
No, it's true.
You brought us on. If we're agreeing,
no,
more than we're
I don't
not.
need you yelling at me, all right? Jesus.
That doesn't matter. In this case, like, the match was fine. I don't think Lucha Rules helped it, because what happened was we lost some of the... So the point of Lucha Rules is it's chaotic and other teams can tag other teams in, and it gets a bit out of hand. This didn't break down, really. You didn't get to the point where it was out of hand. It just felt like a tag match because they were both quietly sitting in the corner until, like, it was time to come in, which kind of would have happened in a tag match anyway. Like, it would have done. And you also lose the element of, like, a hot tag situation, or the sort of the tag team tactics are out of the window. There's not much double teaming going on, and it just felt a little bit... The match was fine, but I don't think the gimmick helped it. Like, personally, I think it was just kind of like, yeah, it was there, but it wasn't really... It didn't offer anything different to a normal tag match for me, personally, but yeah, it was fine. Like, it was the ending was kind of unexpected, but not really, because the match was going that way. So, like, Diva getting in there and ending things was...
Well, of course, it's poetic, despite me not liking this fucking guy. But yes, it did make sense thematically, I guess.
Like, it was like, yeah, it was all fine. It wasn't the best match of the night. It wasn't the worst match of the night. Like, it was good. Yeah.
Jake?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything Dan said. It was fine. I'm very proud that we built this whole thing. Like, Deaver and I had been going since September of 2022.
Yes.
And to run like a 13-month story with that bullshit like in the side, and to build it to this point with the whole turn with the Perfect Storm, undefeated as a tag team up to this point. We made it.
That's
a
what
point
I didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't know that, but that's our fault. That's not your fault. We made it a point to be like, oh, we're arrogant and we're gonna give them this advantage with Lucha Rules or whatever. But Dan is right. We didn't use the gimmick as much as maybe we could have or should have. I don't necessarily agree that it was the same as a normal tag match, because in WWE 2K, you don't have any of the things that he said. You don't have the double teaming. You don't have any of the cohesion. Like, it was the same as it would have been with a normal WWE 2K tag team match. But he is right. It was just fine. But the ending is what I am the most proud of, because with the whole build, and they are the underdogs, and they lost a bunch of tag team matches on the build up to this.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't want to lose. I wanted to bury them. I wanted to beat them in 5 minutes, but it just didn't work out that way. So the fact that I got tagged in and tried to predict the finish,
that shit was amazing.
I try. You can see me if you go back and watch it. I put my fucking hands up because I'm ready for him to just sprint in and hit the finisher, and he actually delayed it a little bit and got me. And sometimes that's the way it goes. And for the story to go from me being a shitbag mentor and turning on him at Resolution and burying him, and even you burying him on commentary and all that, and for him to get his big moment here, And for them to get their big moment here, going into a number 1 contenders match, it's good stuff. I'm not really worried about trajectory for either team from here. I think both teams have plenty of ways to go, but it was fun, and more importantly, it broke up the pacing of this show. Like after that crazy nonsense with Empress and Furiosa, this was a perfect spot for this match to go to break it up and move into the latter half of all the dramatic nonsense that we're going to get to.
Yes, indeed. We're making actually pretty decent time also.
We are not.
Well then, fuck you. Anyway, so yeah, all I'll say is my only qualm is more of a backstage qualm. Shut the fuck up, Joe. If you win, stop being so fucking chipper.
Oh my god, I'm so glad you said that. I meant to mention that.
This is what I was talking about, like with the Owen situation when fucking Russ was like, "Oh, I guess you won your match," and I didn't watch the match at that point, so I was like, "Oh shit, maybe he did." But when I found out that he didn't, like when we watched it together, I was like, that gave me more respect for Owen. Because that's how you do it. Like when you subvert expectations, that's how you do it. When you fucking run around and that's the same. That reminds me of this of like who the fuck was that dude? I don't. There's so many of them that like not a fucking peep, not a fucking peep. But during but if they're booked and not a fucking peep, but then if they win their match, they're in fucking VP and fucking guy. That shit. Don't do that.
Oh. I'm sorry, Jay. I do agree with you. I don't mean to cut you off. I do 100% agree with you. I told Joe to chill like multiple times. He was more active than he had ever been in the history of OCW.
I didn't pick up on it, and you know why I didn't pick on it? Because it's you and Harvey. But then
we tried, and then you watch the match, and then you're like, oh, this guy. He was the first fucking guy in the stream. He's like posting like emojis and shit. Like, chill, bro. Like
shut the fuck up.
Don't be that obvious.
Be Owen.
Whatever. I'm happy for you.
Be Owen. But be Owen. Don't be Deaver.
Exactly, but be Deaver. Just dial it. You should be excited just don't give it away. But I forgot to mention Deaver is the one, because I'm slammed this week with all the things I'm doing. And I'll be gone all week next week or whatever. He made the hype package and he did a great job.
Hype package isn't bad. I hate the music. I'm gonna just say it right now. I thought that it would be shit. It's funny. You
literally
said it directly to me because you were probably worried.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Every edit he made, he DM'd me and he's like, "Oh, how about this?" I'm like, "Bro, you don't have to message me with every single edit." And I'm like, "I trust you. Just go for it." And I thought it was going to be a 6-minute shit show, and it blew me away. It knocked my socks off. He hit all the story elements. He focused on the important parts of the feud. I thought it was great. Great job, Joe.
It did what it had to do.
Stop overthinking it.
I wouldn't go that far. I did what it had to do, but the fact that you said directly to me was like, bro, relax. Like you like.
I know.
I feel like, come on, you don't give me the credit I deserve, but it's okay with that when it comes to shit like that.
I've only put you over.
No. Like I don't like Diva, but I'm not gonna fucking omit like content that's submitted. It's just like, look here, I'm sending it to you because you know. Just like relax, bro. I'm not gonna fucking use it because I'm petty.
No, he did a great job. It was a great transition, and we transitioned directly into Horse versus Rust, which we should get to right now.
Yes, wonderful segue. Which is I appreciate you. Sometimes we don't piss me off. The video itself, fucking like, what is it? What did you say, Dan, before about Horse? That his videos are fucking like MS Paint or some shit. Baby's first video. Horse.
But this is so. Let me wrap it in what it was wrapped in, because that's contextually not correct. What was right? What I was saying was that the creativity that he puts into these videos, regardless of the fact that they're donkey dick when it comes to the actual technique of them, like the fact that they're creative and he's got ideas and he sticks them in there and he does what he can, like what more? There's a lot more people with a lot more technical ability doing shit promos. Doing shit hype videos. Like it happens, and he is like, yeah,
this is
he stands out.
I've always loved Horse, and people always give Horse shit, but Horse is fucking, he's one of, like you were saying, he's one of the fucking ones, bro. He's that guy, bro. That's Horse.
I'll
go ahead.
Shall I go first then?
You know what?
Let me
go ahead. Go. We'll do Pugh, Jimmy, then Jake, and then I'll fucking glaze Horse also, and Russ. It's gonna be a glazing.
So
go ahead.
This was match of the night for me.
I think maybe
a mile, because there was two things that happened in this match that didn't sort of happen anywhere else. There was there was an interaction after every time they used a weapon. There was some sort of like, I'm going to cover him, I'm going to do a taunt to kind of rile something up, I'm going to set something else up. Some of the matches didn't have that, and that's something that I really enjoy. So I liked that a lot. There was also the throwback to Lucian and Rust being like, no, fuck you, I'm kicking out of this. And
Yes.
that was the moment of the night for me, was because I enjoyed that so much at Lucian. I have been Horse's biggest critic for as long as he's been in OCW. Didn't get him. He only got over because he had a horse head and you used to shout his entrance music. Like he was nothing. Like I didn't have it, but I get him now. I understand what he is now. He's just this. He's this chaotic man.
He's just a chaotic little Italian man,
and does all manner of crazy shit, and then suddenly he has a match like this. Like, this was the best match. It was a Battlegate match. You know what a Battlegate match is, Jay? It's just where we used to all get together and just fucking have hardcore matches, and that was what we did. And we never recorded them. We barely ever spoke about them really publicly. We just did these random hardcore matches, and that's why Mugen got so good at them. That's why, like, that group of people was so good at hardcore matches. And this was one of those matches by two people who were never involved in them. Like, it was just using the game and some of the game's quirks to do something different than a normal Rust match. And well, not a normal Blacksmith match. It is a normal Blacksmith match, but Rust doesn't exist in that hardcore realm, but did for this.
Yep.
And like, I mean, you saw me venture into it, like with Rex. It was dog shit.
Horrible. I meant to have a bad match for 30 minutes.
Some people can't do it. Some people can't do that. And like when I was hardcore champion, I barely ever did any hardcore matches. They were hardcore rules, but I never used weapons. And yeah, you gotta kind of go. You gotta look at Rust and go like, he's the best at this at the moment. Match wise, in terms of how he presents a match, he is the best at this at the moment. Period.
He's definitely in that conversation for fucking greatest of all time, despite being a prick.
Well,
Jimmy,
he's got a terrible hair transplant as well.
It's great.
Like, why is his hairline completely changed within like a couple of
You know
months?
what? I don't fucking know what's wrong with him, but whatever. Jimmy, you're up.
Match was great. I mean, the all the different spots, the flaming table, everything, just the deliberate actions, like Pugh referenced, Dan referenced. Everything I thought was good. You know, the build-up I thought was interesting too. You know, and they really went at each other in the chat, so I paid attention to that too, quite a bit. So this seemed pretty bitter, you know, in terms of the rivalry. You know, they really brought that bitterness out in it, and the match was great. To me, just slightly under B17 and Reese in terms of, you know, the quality of the match. I really thought they did great. And these guys work well together too. And Russ is just great, you know, in terms of what he does with matches. I've wrestled him a couple times, and with his ults and stuff like that. He gets an amazing match out of anybody. I mean, my second match in OCW, he walked me through a Gonzalo Munoz match that I had no business even being in. So like, he's great. That's all you can say about it.
Jake, are you gonna get Jake? You're up.
Yeah.
What? You all right?
Good fucking lord. Yeah. Horse and Rust
Jesus
are two of the best people to work with because they're always open to new ideas. They're always open to working with different kind of scopes of what kind of program you want to work. I've obviously worked with Rust more than anybody in the Fed, and Horse a number of times, especially at Lucian this last year. They're great. The hype package went so fucking hard.
You loved that one.
I did. I was popping throughout it. If anybody who was in VP, I was screaming this shit. This bang!
It hit the story beats, basically.
This is my jam, and that's what I fucking wrote. It hit all the hype. I'll just read my notes.
Read your notes.
Horse versus Rust. Goddamn, the hype package went so hard. Hit all the high points of the feud.
Yes,
that's what you want. I did. I'll say it again.
Dan, he loved this place.
It hit all the high points of the feud. Exactly what a hype package should be. These two understood the assignment. Good flow throughout the match. Awkward toward the end, but the top half was the best half of the match. Horse turning himself red on a missed dive is vintage Horse.
Well,
Horse, after the ladder spot, started to run, but realized his mistake and stopped and walked towards Rust to get the pin. That popped me huge. Jay was money in this match. He's so good. That's the end of my notes.
It's so nice.
But this match was like, and this goes back into what I said about Jay, like placing matches. This was a perfect placement for this match after the cooldown of the last match that we had. This was a chaotic, hardcore nonsense match, and I think honestly for me what made the hardcore and like the over the top, like they had 2 fire table spots in a single,
and it was okay. I was like, all right, what are you gonna do?
but what made it okay is the build to this didn't have any of that. They weren't fighting each other every single week. They weren't like attacking each other backstage. They came out every single week and cut shoot promos on each other like it was 1999, and like But whatever you think about that style of promo, the fact that they had no physicality in the lead up to this, and then the physicality in this match
perfect.
was over the top.
Do you see?
It was amazing. It was incredible. Both of these are perfect. I will say the latter half of this match did suffer from similar reasons that Parka and Amart suffered from, is that Russ kind of wasn't going for the kill. And like they were like kind of going for spots. It wasn't as bad as like Pugh versus Rex on Turmoil, or like B17 versus Blacksmith, or like any of those that are like famous.
Can I break
for
out?
Like forcing spots? I'm almost done.
Wow.
I'm almost done.
Use your privilege.
It's not as bad as any of the ones that like forced the spots, but it got to that point at times. But then by the end, they just were like, okay, it's time to go. And then they went, I would say after the triple horse stomp spot, they were like, all right, let's fucking do this thing.
Okay.
But there was a moment. Go ahead, Jay.
All right. So with that, I would kind of agree, because if you notice, there was a point in the match where I was about to go into the bag, and immediately right after I said something, there was a fucking attempt. Like, he was using his finisher shit to get shit done. So he was actually using his finishers. That's the first thing. The second thing is, Horse got fucked by a table to do something, do a finisher, and so did Russ when he had the thing. Russ got fucked twice by the table placement. He didn't lose. No, Horse didn't lose a finisher, but he wasn't able to hit it. He tried, but he wasn't able to do it. And Russ tried to do a couple things twice, and the table both interfered with whatever he was trying to do, which could have been a finisher. We don't know, because he was swinging, and that could have been the swing to turn him back, blah blah, whatever, for the fucking Blade Walker. So that's where we're gonna disagree, and that's fine. I will never stop singing the praises of fucking Russ Cole. He annoys me to no end, and we don't have conversations. We just have conflicts. Literally, when that match came in, I sent them a very mean text that would probably make most people quit. And he just said, "Trust me, it is fine." You say what? You say you don't mean that?
No, just go ahead.
Whatever. Don't fucking undersell me. But yeah, no. So yeah, no. He was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It is fine." And I was like, "All right, we'll see, motherfucker." And it was fine. I really enjoyed this, and I also enjoyed Horse, because Horse, and I hate using the phrasing, doesn't get his fucking flowers. He's that guy, bro. Horse is that guy, and this season, especially, he's that fucking guy. And like Pugh said, fucking when he did the 3 things that he did to you, and fucking Russ kicked out, we all lost our shit. Even on the VP, they lost their fucking shit. The VP was actually feeling this match too. Go fucking figure, right? Yeah. So when fucking Russ kicked out of that, and then I was like, okay, we'll see what happens with this. And then the finish was great. Like you said, fucking right. He ate a sledgehammer and said hold yo, and got hit with the horse.
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention that. The finish was tremendous. After all the hardcore stuff, a drop toe hold on the peak of the steel was like such a cool finish. And then he immediately hit the horse kick, which is not even his finisher anymore.
Fucking good. It was fucking great. Like Russ, say what you will about Russ, he's a cunt, but he gets shit done. Russ don't be having bad matches. If you have a bad match with Russ, something wrong with you. And Horse is that guy. So I fucking love both. I enjoyed this match tremendously. Enough fucking glazing the French and the Italians. What's the next segment?
Owen Aries.
Promo video and match. Okay, so we'll do Jake, Jimmy, then Pugh. Promo video was great, but it suffers from what I think it's actually, no, it's a 2-part, it's a compound thing. So I don't think I always say, but I do mention treat yourself and get the main event. So they did that, or Owen did it. Whoever fucking did the video, I'm assuming it's Owen because it's After Effects and shit. So treat yourself and get the main event. They did that, cool. The video wasn't bad, but it's weird because like Owen tends to do really long hype videos, and I think they could be more succinct. That's a criticism I've had for quite a while. Like they just seem like they get to a point and then it's like part 2, and then they get to the point, and it's like part 3. It's like, okay, we're on this.
They lose momentum mid.
Yeah, they're
mid-video.
like on this journey. So I think they would be more if they were succinct. And then you have this immaculate, this extensive hype package, which is okay, cool. Like, it wasn't bad. It was great, actually. And then you followed up with like bombastic entrances on top of that. So visually, it's like, okay, all right, you're the main event, I guess, or you're the guy, or whatever. So I don't know. It's like a conflicting feeling, I guess. I don't know. I get it because it's the coming out party for Owen. This is like one of his first like big title contention, so you got to show out. But like, I feel you can encompass that with more minimalism, because that's what the Owen character, from my perspective, is very minimalistic to begin with. So that's my take on it. The match itself wasn't a bad match by any sense of the imagination. It's very good, very back and forth, very much what you expected. Fucking Air Rays being a fucking cunt was great. Me and Jake had the Young Bucks little thing. We actually put it together, but we couldn't like get it off after the fact. It was weird because neither of us give a fuck about the Young Bucks. So we only had like 2 in the chamber, and that was it. Again, solid match. No, nothing to complain. If I want to be a petty bitch, my only thing is I don't like that fucking outside finisher shit. Roll them in there, fuck. But you know, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? Learn how to fucking reverse, right? So I forgot the order. Was the order Jake, Pugh, then Jimmy, or what the fuck was the order?
Sure. My God, the Owen Aries hype package was unbelievably well done. Story. That should be the focus for anybody's hype package. You're giving the most of the rundown in one succinct package. New people know. Old people are excited. If it wasn't clear that I'm reading, I am.
Why are you reading?
These are the notes that I typed out. Love the hype package. I don't agree with your. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. I do agree with what you said, because for it to bounce from this long hype package that gave us the full rundown to the whole Owen thing, it did seem like it went together. It didn't, because that was just Owen's entrance and like whatever, but I understand that. I will make a note based on your commentary. You would never in your life say this about Nate Ortiz matches, and he's done this many, many times over, but that's just the way it goes sometimes.
What did Nate do?
That's fine. I just mean going from like a long hype package into a long like entrance for Nate Ortiz. But Owen is not Nate Ortiz. It's different. It's different. You don't have the same feelings. So it's not a criticism. I'm just saying it's a perspective issue when you get to this point. You always do.
Yeah, no,
I'll say for the match itself, it was a classic back and forth. The card order right here shines from Jay. This is a situation, everybody complaining like this should be the main event, this should open, whatever.
I told you that
this card right here is exactly why you should all bow down to Jay. He is so good at what he does. I have had no notes for his card order the last like 8 months that we've done this shit.
It's been a year,
and this is a perfect example. Like, we went from that insane Horse versus Russ Cole match, that hardcore chaotic thing, into this kind of like gauntlet. Like, I think Brian said it too, like we're gonna hit it like a triple main event here, and it felt that way. And I think everybody did a good job of presenting their story in a way that could have been a main event. Not everybody can be a main event, but if you present yourself in that way, it only serves to better the show, and that's really what we're all trying to do here. So the nuanced and story-driven like match that we have here, given all of the shit that we had with Owen and Colby McCallum to begin with, not even counting coming back from the dead, and then Owen like retiring briefly out of kayfabe and then coming back to fight Aries, was tremendous. I loved it. The additional story with banning the chops was super fun, because that's kind of what Owen's known for, and it really helped Aries be a shitbag heel. The match wasn't remarkable. It was a main event match, and that's why I kind of lean into what Brian said, like this is a triple main event. It was a main event match. It could have main evented any other pay-per-view that OCW runs. I don't agree with what Jay said about hitting the finisher on the outside and rolling him in. That's, in my eyes, it served the story.
Yeah.
Not not just to call back the Sheldon thing because he did the same thing to Sheldon, but like it's fair game. You got to just what you said, Jay.
I literally said that. You got to
put your. You did. You did. I you got to put your hands up sometimes, and if that happens, then it happens. And the fact that it lined up perfectly with 2 members of Sanctum being beaten in the same way was just chef's kiss. Obviously, all 3 world champions on the night defended their titles, and this was a great way to start that. So, big fan.
So before we go to Jimmy, I believe it might have been Pew, but I don't care. You made a good point, and I fucking forgot it because my brain doesn't work. But you said something like we're all trying to like, what you said? We're all trying to make the show. You said something along like we're all trying to make the show good.
Yeah, like you said, it was actually like kind of a branch off what you said. Like you should be presenting your match. You said it on commentary in the Tony match.
I was just gonna be catty because you said we're all trying to make the show better, and I was gonna say, "See, Dan, we're all trying to make the show better." You fuck, but that was me being a bitch. So I apologize, but I just wanted to get that out because you made a good point.
I'm not gonna be an accessory in you taking a shot at Dan.
you made a good point. I wanted to attack him.
I don't even know what I said here. What did I say?
I don't even know. I don't remember. I don't know why he's trying to shoot.
I don't know,
at you.
Man. I'm a toxic. Jimmy, you're up.
No. It was fun. It was fun. It was
Jimmy,
great. And I love the hype.
There are stray bullets coming around here, so watch out. Overall, I thought that this match was really good pacing wise in terms of their back and forth. I never knew who was going to win the match. I thought at different points Aries had control and then Owen had control. So first of all, I always appreciate like when there's a big stakes match like that, when it feels like that. So sometimes you go into a match like that and you're like, oh, this guy's winning, and it kind of brings it down a little bit. But I appreciated that back and forth. In terms of the hype package, I agree. I think Owen does great work, but I think there are times where things get lost in the translation there, and maybe things could get cut down a little bit to make it more succinct. And I don't know if I agree with the over-the-top choice for Owen. It's a different choice, but I guess, it's your first world championship opportunity, so it's really a big deal to you.
Yeah.
So you're going all out. You know what I mean? So I guess I understand the decision.
You
I haven't been.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. But overall, I really enjoyed the match. I'd say it was one of the upper matches on the card for sure. And I guess the GOAT support system carries on.
Ugh. So the thing to just expound before we give it to Pew is you should treat yourself like you're the main event, because again me and Pew more specifically, we do have like I guess not evidence, but
advice.
Whatever the word is, but what? It's not good advice?
No, you shouldn't treat yourself like you're the main event. We talked
Jesus
about this
Christ.
with A. Martinell Parker. Like Jesus. I understand you saying that in certain
wasn't even
moments,
a breakout, but
I'm breaking out now. You don't assume you're the main event. You should have competence enough to understand where you are in the card. We literally said you can't.
Well,
you can't say one thing about Parka and Amart and then later on say like, treat yourself like you're the main event.
Listen, in this instance, it's for a championship, the OCW championship. So
okay, but that requires taking personal inventory, which doesn't assume you're the main event.
No, but you're getting lost in the sauce, and we're not gonna argue.
I'm not.
Listen, we're not gonna argue. We're not. Wow, nice comeback. We're not gonna argue semantics. Like I was saying before, you fucking whatever.
I broke out.
You broke out a little bit. Relax yourself. You should, and I understand that, but like I was saying before you fucking came in, is that me and Pew are also from a time where people had that opportunity and they did jack shit with it. Like they just came out with the same whatever and it did whatever. So it's nice to see, someone opting to, hey, I'm the guy. I'm gonna treat myself like the guy. Jesus Christ, Jake. Dan, you may go. Fuck.
Okay, so first of all, I think I disagree with you there, Jay.
Everybody disagrees.
No.
You brought us both on, and we just agree with each other.
I hate this.
Fuck you.
I hate this.
The problem with this is like the mindset is act like you've been there before, and sometimes is the right time to have like a big elaborate entrance. What I will say about this is that I wrote down the hype video. It was all over the place for me. Jake went for me because I was like, why is there like this fake Irish accent in there? One of the big it's nothing to do with the technical parts of the video. It's nothing to do with anything like that. Like, don't take this as a personal attack. For me personally, I think that the cadence of AI versus a real person talking is difficult to follow, and that was super evident here. It was so evident, and like we were saying about Nate before, about Nate Mack, like, the thing with his is, like, it's real. This felt so contrived and not real. It felt the complete opposite of Nate Mack, and I get they were going for the hype. I get the story thing. I get, like, the lead up to this has been fine. Like, it's been a solid wrestling thing, but that didn't work for me personally. It was long. It was the entrance was fine. It was the bit before that I kind of didn't.
Which bit? The package or the actual entrance itself?
The package that had all of, like, the promos and, like, the talking and the leprechaun voice.
Just so we're clear, Dan, that was not an AI voice. That is Owen.
No, I know Owen's voice was Owen's voice, but Aries' voices were not Aries' voices.
But those were negligible. Like, I think the only time Aries spoke type was like, "My name is Aries," and it's like the Clooney voice, but most of it was Owen.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, the cadence of it breaks. Like, natural speech sounds different to AI speech. That's natural. We know that.
True,
and
sure.
when you interject them and use them together, it can be very jarring. Like, that's what I found it to be. I just found it to be super jarring. But anyway, that's not the main point. My main point here was that, so coming out of Lucian, I felt really bad for Owen because he'd been fucked over royally, and the natural logical step coming out of Lucian was not Parker versus Aries. It was Aries versus Owen. That's the natural step that they should have been building to. So I'm glad they got there. Like, I'm glad we got there, and that's the match that we got, which was cool. Like, they got there, they had a solid wrestling feud up to that. The match itself, great, like, fine. It was good. Like, there was nothing sort of egregious in it. It was a solid match, like you said. It was a main event match, like you said. It was a shame that Owen couldn't pull it off, because, like, it would have been a cool end to the story. One thing as well, and I know this is sort of getting into the weeds a little bit, but, like, there's no natural face in this match, so it was hard to find someone to root for. It was a conversation. At this point, Rust and the twins had joined the chat that me and Kent were in, and we had this conversation of, like, who do you root for here? Because Owen, 6 months ago, was fucking mums and being a horrible bastard, and now, like, Aries is a horrible bastard. Owen hasn't really redeemed himself, really. So, like, who are you rooting for here? Like, it's very genuinely, he turned around so differently.
You genuinely came into a chat and said, "I don't know who to cheer for in this match because 6 months ago someone did something bad."
No, the conversation was they've both been inherently bad for a long time. So, like, which one is the biggest face here? And the consensus was, like, who? Like, there was a fissure in the group. Like, who's the face? Like, you wanted Owen to win because Aries is a piece of shit. In the end, is what we came up with. But ultimately, like, there wasn't, like, a redeeming thing of Owen that made him the underdog that you wanted to cheer for. There wasn't that. That wasn't there. And that's how I felt in the lead up to this. Maybe other people feel differently, but that's how I felt in the lead up to this.
Well, hey, if you said you had multiple people in that chat that felt the same way, then clearly, I can't be like, everybody thinks this and you think that. But, like, I thought it was very clear cut.
No,
maybe a lot of it, and I think this is true too, because you are right. In the whole Colby McCallum Owen feud, Owen was a giant piece of shit. And that was a while ago at this point, like you said, like 6 months. But I think a lot of what they were building on when Owen came back was the shoot elements. It was the fact that he came back from the dead. It was the fact that everybody had shoot sympathy for Owen as both a handler and a character. So, like, maybe me and my brain unconsciously went like, okay, I want him to win, without actually thinking about it from a kayfabe standpoint. So I can get to it from that point.
I think that's what the situation was. Like, there's been, like, Aries has been sort of doing his shit, but he's not done anything. Like, the reason that this match isn't the main event is because there's been better stuff going on. And, like, it's still the case here. Like, it's the same thing that I said about Parker before. He hasn't shown himself to be that sort of everyone get behind Owen on shows. He's only been back, what, a month and a bit? Like, he's He's kind of not.
Yeah,
he's
about
just
6 weeks.
sort of showed up, and he's just kind of showed up, and now I'm going to fight Ares, and there wasn't any redeeming sort of feature, so it was hard to find a baby face.
The redeeming stuff was out of kayfabe, though. I think is the thing. Like when he showed back, because when he first came back, he was disguised as Colby McCallum, and like all of us in viewing party were like, "Oh, this is because of the whole Lucian thing." But I guess I've convinced myself just talking about it. If you think about it from a pure kayfabe perspective, this guy who went and fucked a dead man's wife, or insinuated that he was having relations with a dead man's wife to get at the dead man's son, and then the dead man comes back and he's like, "Oh, I'm justified all of a sudden." I guess I can see how that is not exactly somebody you would want to root for.
Well, and even in the build up to it, like Owen wasn't sympathetic. He was just being fucked with by a nuisance, basically. Like he was never it was the powers of Ares. It was not the power of Owen's babyface. It was the power of everybody just hating Ares. And so it didn't matter who was going against him. We were going to go. We want whoever is not Ares to win. Basically, Owen like Ares is being a clown, and Owen's like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna, I'm getting whatever."
But he had the connection, and I think they tried to draw that in the hype package. In the hype package, they were like, "Oh, I beat your son," but that does ignore the entire reason him and his son were feuding in the first place.
I just fucking wish that he beat both father and son. Would have been fucking hilarious. But I mean, it's a conversation. Like that's the beauty of having nuanced conversation.
You're right.
I wish this was more chaotic, but fucking Dan's good at his job. Fucker.
That's a good. And Cass said, "I'm glad Ares won." You know what? Me too.
Wow, that's definitely.
Bro, I mean, if to Pugh's point, if we're not thoroughly behind somebody from a foundational standpoint, I'm not gonna lie to you. Ares is doing amazing work as a heel champion right now. He is such a dirtbag piece of shit, but he's doing it on such like a high technological level in a way that I can get behind. Like, fuck that guy. I want him to die.
Fuck that guy.
But I need an Iceman, to dethrone Tony. And
let's approach this from what it is as well. At the moment in OCW, if we're going to talk completely like what brings us full circle, we need Parker to elevate himself to the top babyface in the company. That hasn't happened, and it hasn't. I mean, it might never happen, but that is the logical end to Ares' story here. It currently hasn't. We're not there yet, so like Ares has to stay champion until we're there. That's logically speaking where we end up. Like, I know that isn't going to happen because we're competitive and stuff changes, but 100%, like the natural logical step to this, after all of the bullshit and the coming back to life and the sort of how is he ended up champion, whatever, like the natural conclusion to this is Ares versus Parker. Whether you like it or not, Jay, whether other people like it or not,
fuck that I do.
Like that is. No, I'm saying like that's not the optimal match for a lot of people. I don't particularly want to see it, but that's a logical step for Ares.
As long as it's earned. I think that's what we're looking for. We're looking for somebody that earns it. And Parker is the most logical sense. And generally speaking, in pro wrestling, I'm not of the thinking that like this is the logical step. That's what has to happen. And whether it's in kayfabe, like when you can control all that, or if it's in OCW where it's competitive, there are opportunities to get to that point. And we know that because we saw it on this show with Iceman and Tony. So we need somebody to earn it. And we need like a baby face or somebody to earn that spot where we can really say this is the one who dethrones it.
Maybe it could have been Bolek. I'm just kidding. Fuck Bolek.
I'm going to cut you off there because the one criticism of Ares the whole time he's been in OCW
Here we go.
is he's inconsistent. This is the time he's not only being consistent, but he's actually doing stuff that makes sense. He's come around to Owen. He's done the Owen thing. If he goes and does the Parker thing, like I've always said, he's the fucking Brooklyn Brawler. Like he was here a long time ago, but he didn't do a lot. If he can come back and redeem himself, then my opinion of him, no, fucking Amar is don't even talk about the Brooklyn Brawler like that.
Don't shit on the Brooklyn Brawler like that.
my point here is like for all of the flaking and all of the bullshit over the years, that solidifies Aries as a top 10 person. If he comes back and does an actual like amazing arc
Number
and then
10.
goes, right, I'm done with OCW. That's it. It doesn't
he's
have
on
to
the
retire, but he's finished Aries at that point.
Yeah.
And that's the criticism that I've always had of Aries, is he just kind of fades in and out and fades in and out. And if he comes and finishes that arc, and then that's Aries, like big bow on it, tied up, perfect. That's how you end. That's why you don't see Dupree anymore. He's done everything. That's why you don't see me anymore. I've done everything. Like Aries at that point has achieved everything. He's very decorated. He's achieved a lot of stuff, but he's never had that killer feud. Like think about his whole career. He's never had that just one feud that stands out as the me versus Nate, the Dupree versus Nate, the stuff that kind of people talk about. The only feud that people talk about is him and Mayhem, and that's for the wrong reasons.
Or him and
So
Chaz,
if
but
he
that
can
wasn't
come
even
back-
even a feud. That's just like them
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh hey, your friends fight. Go ahead.
No, the
if he
the
can
bounce
come back
the
and
bouncing in and out is so valid. And you're right. He's on the right track now, but
I just
to
want to know
say?
why the fuck
He
I
just
called it
needs to follow
straight.
through.
But yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely 100% right about the current
I
trajectory. Like
agree.
I don't hate what he's doing at all. It's just, it's the only thing. If I had a criticism, it would be like, being the like goofy bad guy champion is cool, but it's like kind of weird to be the OCW champion as a goofy bad guy heel. But hey, I'm not stopping it, so knock yourself the fuck out.
bro, I just did that.
You weren't goofy. You weren't goofy heel.
Let's move on.
Wow. Why are you far away?
We're
Anyway,
3 hours long at this point.
we're almost done. We're very close. We have, I believe it's the Bellas, right? Wow, the Bellas. Jesus Christ, Rumble
Yes.
Bellas.
The Rumble Bell.
The fact that I said the Bellas is not a good thing. Cool. We have a women's tag. The only thing is that we don't have a women's tag team division.
That was going to be my point, was that there is no division, but they're talking about a division.
I
so,
wish there was potentially, but yeah. So I didn't hate it. It's good. My dream would be to have a mixed tag match with John Carter and Ashley Moore to see how many dodges we get. But that's just me being a petty bitch. But on the fact that the Rumble Bellas, cool. I'm happy for it. It's good. We'll see what booking does when booking gets around to it. And I have nothing bad to say. It's nice seeing Belle and Ashley. I like the mentorship angle. It's cool. Rumble Bellas, name is okay. Not a problem with it, I guess. I'm like indifferent.
What was the
basically.
one? What was the one Mike? What was the
Slay
one Mike
Bellas.
said that was way better? Dan, I think you commented on it.
Oh, he had
Slay Bella.
Slay
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 Bellas.
Bellas.
Oh, the Slay Bellas was so much better.
Slay Bellas or Slay Bellas or whatever the fuck. But yeah,
But it's fine. It's
no. Do we want to expound upon it? Do we want to give comments? Fuck it, Jake.
I honestly, I think you nailed it.
Okay.
I'm appreciative of what they're doing. When you're not on a show, and this is what I said in chat, with that little blurb that's on the bottom of your card when you posted, rookies or anybody who's not booked, you are encouraged to submit content. This is the shit I want to see. Like,
Exactly.
You're keeping yourself on the show, presence. You're breaking up the
DNX
matches.
did it too.
It is what
DNX,
it
Jake's,
is what
all
it
of them.
is.
Even I think Scotty X, who shot out Scotty X. You'll see that later on. So now we have what we're almost done. Yeah, we have the women's hype
Marissa hype package.
and the women's match. Okay, I'll probably go last. Women's hype. Was it two people doing two different videos? Am I bugging or no?
This was, I'll just tell you, this was all Marissa.
Okay.
Rye is incredibly talented individual. I didn't have any part in this. So
Okay.
It's all right.
Video was cool. Very thing. The thing is, it kind of like, I like the first half. The second half, I don't know. Like, I felt like it kind of like we got to where we needed to get, and then we kind of went further for some reason. But I guess
They
we
should have
didn't know the footage.
merged. Right? They should
But I
have
thought
like
they,
merged.
I thought they
like
did. I
if
thought
they
like,
did.
it felt like you did one half and she did the other, or he
Yeah.
did the other, whatever. But they did the other.
No.
That's what it felt like. Didn't hate the video though. Match I'll talk about later on. I'll be last. So we will do Pugh, Jimmy, then Jake. Go.
On the video, I don't remember.
Well,
the
you
video.
can
Just do both. Just
do
both.
both. Wrap them
Okay.
all up and together.
Yeah, so I've been really critical of Marissa in the past, but the entrance was really good. The attire was really good. Felt like a big fight sort of situation. Again, it was the same as the Emp and Furiosa entrances. It was kind of, they felt big deal, and that's what you want from a division that's kind of like not always. I mean, let's just say it as it is. Emp will never main event Lucian because she's in the women's division, as far as she's concerned, and that's kind of like, that's the perception that some people do have. So for this to for the entrance is to be solid, the match is to be solid is sort of that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. The match was really good back and forth.
Really?
Yeah,
Sorry,
I didn't mind
sorry.
it. I mean, I was sort of fading in and out of it, to be honest with you. It was a point where we were still very much discussing the previous match in that group that we were in. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, but it just I enjoyed it. Like Marissa. I've been critical in the past, but Marissa's like fine. Like she was good. Soto is a horrible lady, and I wish nothing but ill will on her. But I mean, it was a good match. It was solid. I liked it. It's fine.
Jimmy, you're up.
Also, fuck this game actually, because the game was fucky in the situation again,
multiple
which
times.
kind of ruins it. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jimmy, you're up.
Right now.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with their points there. I thought there were points, especially where they had a really good, tit for tat back and forth, where everything felt like they were really even throughout the match. Lots of times, there will be matches that are considered even, and it's just like, one person hits a move, I reversed, another person hits a move. This felt like it flowed really well in terms of the reversals they were hitting. They were like reversals, they were trying to one-up each other, and it kind of felt personal due to their history and, kind of the build that they've had, and, with Deborah winning the championship, Marissa being involved, and, the prior to that. So I thought, on top of that, the hype package was really creative. Marissa uses her, the appeal of her looks and things like that, as one of the main things, but she can go in the ring. And I thought the attire was great. And I thought it looked like a real wrestling attire. It wasn't too revealing or anything like that, but it fit the look that Marissa has. So I thought it was a great match. Deborah in the end, was just a little bit better. But I look forward to seeing what is next for Deborah. I really wanted to see Marissa win that championship, just because see Nate and Marissa have the championships at the same time would be amazing. But Deborah is still the women's champion.
Jake.
Yeah, I know Jay has his own thoughts on this, and I hope he doesn't hold back given the parties involved, but I'll just say my piece here. Marissa is an unbelievably talented person in video shit. I mean, she's even grown from the talent that... Yeah, the Riot, I'll just say, Riot has grown from the talent he had when he joined in 2020, and the stuff that he was doing there with the NPCs and everything, and now the hype packages we're seeing now. There was a point where I think on one of the shows, I don't think it was last week, but 2 weeks ago, where Ryvon had a fucking AR, like an augmented reality, like a WWE thing, pop up during their entrance. Like, it's crazy. Like they're branching out, they're learning new skills, which is great both for us and professionally and personally in their own lives. Like that's the kind of thing that you can do stuff with. So that there was a moment, I think, at the tail end of the hype package where both Deborah and Marissa are grabbing each other, and the camera like pans around them in 3D, and
like N64.
How the fuck do you do that? It's so amazing. It's crazy. I don't know how that happens, but big shout out to Marissa for doing that. I did. I'm like, hey, I have no time to do anything this week. Can you and he immediately knocked it out and was like, "Oh, the hype package is done. I'm not going to send it to you. You can see it live." I'm like, "Yeah, it's great. That's what I want." That's not what he said.
For you, it's fine because you don't like spoilers. So that's good.
No, but it wasn't a thing where they're like, "Oh, I'm not going to show it to you." But it was like, "Hey, it's done." And I said, "Oh my god, I can't wait to see it," because we've worked with each other enough. Shit, we've been feuding for 10 months. That was the whole story here.
It's crazy. It's been 10 months.
So we have the chemistry there. The package was unfucking real. Can't begin to imagine how Riot does what he does. The match was fun. I felt like it was broken up into 3 different segments, where it was especially at the initial outset where Deborah does the taunt and then Marissa just attacks immediately. Like there's no taunt for taunt kind of thing. So it was Marissa early and then into the submission, and then it was the Deborah part where the boot didn't work, and then I had to kind of work with the top rope spot to make it a little bit better. Yeah, and then it went to the third act, which is what you want. You want kind of this person's getting heat and then this person's getting heat, and then by the end it's kind of a back and forth and you don't know what's going to happen, which was fun. I thought the ending was fun as well. I did think about like just letting her getting counted out after I hit the signature on the end. But because of the story we were building with like growing respect for each other after the whole House of Faith thing, it made more sense to throw her back in and try and finish it that way. Fortunately, the final boot did end the job. And, I didn't think it was going to happen that way, but Deborah is still the world champion. And I don't love that.
You don't love that.
I got to keep working, but shit.
I love that a lot.
Couldn't say more great things about Riot, man. Like they're so good at what they do. They're so open to not just ideas, but just the work that goes into it. Like not just, hey, do you want to do this and I'll build it, but hey, do you want to do this? And they're like, hey, let me add this and I'll also build it. Like
yeah.
I've worked with so many people where I'm like, hey, let's do this, and they're like, okay, fine. And it's just like me in a sandbox, and I don't like that. I like people bouncing ideas off each other.
Max is good for that.
Rye, Mac, Russ Cole, like the people I love the most in this Fed are the people where I don't have to do all the work. So Rye is one of the best at that. So it was a super enticing feud. I'm glad it made Hard Target on this pay-per-view, and
that's always
Jay.
Good to
Jay, I'm sure you have some words. So go ahead.
So it's funny because even in VP, like, oh, this is great. I did not like the match at all. Oddly enough, Jake was like, "Oh man, I was throwing you all kinds of, and you weren't giving me nothing." If you listen back to the match, if you caught my emotion on the match, then I kudos to you, but you didn't, because I listened back to it.
Most people didn't.
Nobody did.
Yeah,
I did not like this match at all. I think I've earned enough equity to fucking just be brutally honest with people as opposed to fucking trying to powder punanis or whatever. This is not the Rye I want to ever fucking see again. This reminded me of back when I used to have fucking mentions and I would have to like lie about title matches because they would play differently for title matches. So it bummed me out incredibly because what I expected is, if you remember Turmoil 300, Deborah and Marissa were fucking, that was a great fucking match. I remember talking about it to Jake. I was like, oh, this is fucking great. I love this match. I love this feud.
Road to Glory, right?
Yeah, was it? No, you think it's Road to Glory? I think it was Turmoil 300.
I
can't remember.
It was. Well, it was both. Road to Glory was the
which is the bear hug one,
and then Road to Glory, and then Turmoil 300, because Road to Glory started with adding Ashley, and then Turmoil 300 was just triple threat with all three of them.
Okay, no, so there was definitely Road to Glory.
So Road to Glory was the one-on-one.
Definitely Road to Glory. So yeah, so that's what I was expecting, and I didn't get that. I basically got what I hate to think about is basically, oh my god, it's the title. I got to do it just. The pacing was shitty. The fucking like the ultimate control bullshit. Like not one, not two, not three, but 4 fucking times. Fucking up on a sub and then catching yourself that you did a sub fin as opposed to a regular fin was like, so it happens, whatever. I guess I'm just disappointed basically. So everyone gushing about this match was like weird to me, but I guess it might just be a me thing. Like this didn't feel like a fucking match. It felt like someone, I gotta win because now me and Mac we can be a fucking title couple and blah blah blah. It's like, come on, bro. Like yo, just. That's what it felt like, and I don't like that feeling. I know they can do better, so do better. That's basically all it comes down to. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Grown enough, do better. Like because I've seen it. Because I've seen literally, I've seen the catalog. The catalog has been pretty good. The catalog, I don't make noise about the catalog because I've seen the catalog. The catalog's been pretty good. But you fucking throw a title in there, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden we're playing a little differently now. Because it got come on, man, fuck. That's what got me tight. Because I really, really, truly, I was expecting something. What I had built up in my head was completely different than what we got. So Jake was like, oh, it was okay. And then he's like, oh, you checked out. Nobody noticed anyway. I'm still professional enough to fucking carry it on. But watching that,
you did check out.
You say that, but no one caught it. So then that doesn't count.
You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Because if you listen back to it, there's no any change in the temperature in my voice. It's just that I'm not.
No, there is.
Not really. Watch it back.
There is a change.
Watch it back.
But that's what we talked about.
But at the end of the day,
that's something that I recognize.
Well, you did maybe, but nobody else did. It's like that. That basically it comes from a place of disappointment. And then when everyone's fucking glazing, like, oh, this is fucking great. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all watching, bro? Like everybody's like, oh, this is fucking great. Like, no. The fuck are y'all
And just
watching?
for the record, and just for the record,
you know why?
Jay,
Hold up. You know why? Because let's say it was a Hanzo match, y'all would not have the energy. If Hanzo played the same way Marissa or Riot played, y'all wouldn't be saying that shit. Shut
but
the
it's
fuck
not.
up.
But you can't do a 1-for-1 there because
I know
it's
that's
not
just
the
me
same.
being
It's not-
fucking like simple, but
I know.
that's
I know
how
you're
that's how I feel.
frustrated.
That's why I'm upset.
I understand and
I'm
I
fucking
agree
annoyed,
with you,
bro.
but I just want to make it clear for the record, since we're on the post show pod here, the whole lift into the signature thing 4 times in a single match, like that was like, okay, that's annoying, but it's I don't feel I don't feel as strong. I don't feel as strongly as you. I don't feel that Rye was like going out of bounds or whatever.
You know why? You know why you don't feel that way? Because you're competent enough to like whatever and roll with everything. So you don't get pressed when you do that because you're good.
That's fine.
You're competent at what you do, so you're fine. Like, and if, for example, we could take Pugh back in the day. If Pugh had to fight a fucking like whatever, he's fine with it because he knows how to move around and make it work. So you make it work. So it's good. But me watching, I didn't see the Rye that I usually see. I saw someone that's like, oh shit, I gotta win, and I was like, fuck, man. And that's what got me so tight because I'm like, this is not what they do. Like I've seen them, and it's like, yo, it's a title, so I gotta win. It's like, fuck off, man. Don't do that.
No,
because you can. But the thing is, you can.
That's why I have to make it clear. That's the only reason I want to make it clear. I understand your frustration, but I also know for 100% fact
before you
continue, not. But hold on,
Bell made a good point. I want to comment on Bell's point.
We can talk about it. Let me finish my sentence. I understand that you viewed it that way, but being close to the situation, I know more reality than you do, and I know that it wasn't an intentional decision to do that. It was, if anything went wrong, it was just more out of kind of the moment and just like incidental and maybe nerves or whatever. Like, I have no ill will to say about the person
I got nothing bad to say about Rye. I'm just saying I'm disappointed.
So that's fair, and that's fair for an individual match. I just don't want you to harbor resentment going forward.
But see, that's the thing. I'm not harboring resentment from Rye. I'm being an adult and being like, yo, you're better than this. For sure. You're better than this, and the catalog proves it. It's not like, other people. I won't name names. I won't be bitching,
Rye's
but nothing.
Great.
But like,
the whole catalog is great.
That's why I'm saying, like, there's very few instances of something like this. And to answer Bell's question, what's wrong with wanting to try hard a title match? You know what's wrong, Bell? It looks like shit, and it's like, why do that? Just go to a Discord fed and fucking do whatever and fugazi. I don't give a fuck. I don't want my time wasted.
Facebook fed.
That's what I feel. A Facebook fed, a weird Discord fed, that's what that is. If that's what you want, by all means, my boo, do you, boo boo. It's all good. But like, that's why. Don't do that. Wherever you are on the card, top or bottom, do what you normally do. You don't gotta see, Bell saying that is weird because Bell doesn't have bad matches either. Bell came back and didn't miss a step. So to be like, oh, you try hard match, don't do that.
Whoa, chill. Like, Rye has 4 years.
I'm talking about Bell real quick. That's what I'm saying, because Bell I know,
but you're saying no, but I'm saying, like, you're picking Bell out from a group. But
no,
like,
I'm picking it for her comment to be like, she doesn't do the same thing.
You can't use that example because it's like 4 years of matches that you can pick out for Rye, and you're like, oh, Bell just came back. She's had 4 matches, and you're like, oh, she's great.
You're conflating. I'm not comparing Bell to Marissa. I'm just saying that for Bell to say that is weird because Bell doesn't have try hard matches. Bell actually competes and does fine. Like, Bell doesn't whatever. Rye could be nervous. That's fine. Again, it's not
just a different perspective.
It's not a personal indictment. It's just me being like it took me back to the fucking shitty times, which got me
trying
tight.
hard could mean different things for different people. When you say being a try hard, I didn't say it. Bell did. No, but just listen. Like, when you say try hard, we all understand what you mean. Like going, like abusing the video game in order to get ahead. But like, other people may not understand that. They may think like, of course someone like try hard in the match.
So I'll leave it at that. Someone like Bell.
Yeah. But there's no big deal. Like, it was a fine match. You did not like it, but that's okay. But I don't think we heard from the other two, did we?
I think we heard from we hear from Jimmy, or did I?
Yeah. Let's hear from Dan.
Did we hear from? No, we heard from Dan.
We heard from me.
We heard from both of them.
I want to interject. Let me interject on what you've been talking about here, because it isn't like we saw it. So you see it all the time. You see.
And Matt, hold up, Matt. I didn't say that at all. I'm just answering Bell's question.
It's
sorry, I'm worked up. Fuck.
What just happened? Who just left? Did somebody just leave? What's going on?
No,
Jim did.
Oh,
Jim.
Okay.
But that's fine. Go ahead, Dan.
So I was gonna say, like, it's not rare that when the red light goes on, regardless whether it's a title match, people get all excited and things start to happen that
100%.
wouldn't normally happen. That just that's always been the way of OCW, always will be the way of OCW. It goes back to the why can't I play like I'd play in DMs? Like it's just that's
Yes.
natural in OCW, like it just is. There's a certain seasoning that comes with being in title matches that, like, I mean, I've said it to you
That's
loads of times as
fair.
a joke, but my thing is, like, once you've been in that situation, and obviously speaking as somebody who has multiple times, like, it just becomes a normal match. Now, a title match gets on a pedestal for people who've not been on them before.
That's
and
fair.
shit
I
goes,
fucking said this to you in the booth, Jay.
yeah,
Well,
but
look.
shit goes awry because you don't always get that opportunity and you don't want to fuck it up. This is exactly what I always say about what Adam's just said there. You play in DMs like you're going to play when you're recording.
Yes.
And then there's never any issue. You follow FPR perfectly. You do exactly what you do in DMs the same way that you do it in matches. There's never going to be an issue. It's when people try to get cute and they play outside of the rules in DMs and stuff that stuff starts to go awry. But it's a seasoning thing that people don't have. Sometimes, like, it's going to take 4 or 5 title matches to get that seasoning.
Perhaps.
And, like, yeah, like,
So-
it happens. Shit happens.
Look.
And you could be mad about it, but I don't think this situation, because Jay, you saw me years and years ago, like when I was doing the hardcore thing, I was having to fight like fucking
dog
Justin
shit.
Reyes,
But that's
who
what I'm-
could
but
barely
that's-
contain
that's what I'm
himself, and he
saying.
tried to cheese me. Like, he actively tried to
No,
cheese me.
that's exactly
and I
what I'm
put him
saying.
down.
That's exactly
I don't
what I'm
think
saying.
that's what's happened here. I
no,
don't think
it
might look
wasn't
like that,
that,
I don't think
but
that's
it's
what
just like I said. I'm used to. I have a specific expectation, right, from this person, and again, it's not an indictment on that person. It's just me personally being fucking annoyed that, like, I know what they're capable of, and that wasn't it. And then to hear people, this is fucking great, got me even fucking more. So I'm like, what are you fucking watching?
Don't do that. But don't do that. You don't vilify other people who enjoyed the match just because you didn't like it. Your disdain for it is part of what makes what Dan just said. Like, when you get into a title, what happened to me when I got that number 1 contenders match? Me and Russ Cole, we fucking blatantly cheated. Like, just we just said fuck it. We cheated against Nate Ortiz and in court in the number 1 contenders match. Like, we didn't know any better. We were just doing our best. And your disdain and everybody else's disdain and your vocalization of that made us go like, okay, we got to do better. So your vocalization of that is important.
But
so you should keep doing
that's
that.
what I'm saying. Like, I'm not. Again, it's not an indictment. It's just I'm like.
But don't attack the audience because they enjoyed it.
Sometimes I feel like Big Man, like, the fuck are you watching?
Let's turn your vitriol onto the
important.
person who deserves it, and let's talk about why Amar is a piece of shit, and then move on
Yes.
to the main event. Here
No,
we go.
Correct.
Amar's not a piece of shit. But look, I just want to make my point. So,
No,
like,
he is.
be like, be upset, don't be upset. But that basically, at the end of the day, my thing is like, I expected one thing, I didn't get it, and it was disappointing to me because I know what they're capable of. It's not like a fucking
Very fair.
It's not like a cookie thing or a Sideshow the Clown thing, like, or even a fucking Cody, not Cody Hagen, but Cody Storm thing back in the
Shit to me. And I don't feel bad about it.
And
I
for
do,
that
Adam.
same reason, Jay, that you just said, like, I feel this way, and it doesn't have to be a big grand thing.
No, it's not even a big thing.
No. Listen, I'm telling you, you just said that. You like, I feel this way because I had a certain expectation. I was disappointed. Whatever. It doesn't have to be a grand overarching thing. And on that same note, it also doesn't have to be a grand overarching statement on the audience. When you hear people like, "Oh, I love the match" or whatever, you don't have to attack them because they don't have the same view as you.
I feel like I have to because if they don't got the same view, it's weird. But whatever.
No, but
it's okay. It's okay.
You vocalized it, which is important.
I'll leave it like this. I'll leave it like this. You made the thing that, like, the end goal is for, like, one of the end goals is for me, like, enjoying
We're all
myself.
working together. Cheers to must.
I didn't fucking enjoy that shit, and I don't want to fucking sit there and not enjoy matches. I want to enjoy matches. That's basically it. That's all at the end of the day. That's why I want to enjoy matches. Anyway, I said my piece.
You'll enjoy Deborah and Marissa.
I said my piece.
That'll be
Think
fun.
about what you want. If you have any other questions, you feel free to ask me. But that's my piece. It is what it is. Do what you want. We have the finally thing we're done. Jimmy's just quiet, like, holy shit. Like, I'm sorry, Jimmy. My bad.
No, I'm in my place.
So we got Better than last London Calling, by the way. Appreciate that. We're wrapping up. Thank God. Fuck. Almost as long as the pay per view. We have the main event. And Dan is actually still here. And I hate the fact that you guys are agreeing a lot. It's bullshit.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Fuck you. The video and the match. The video itself, I liked it, but I don't like. You love music videos, and the thing I don't, for the simple fact.
Who are you
like
talking to?
You, like
Yeah,
you
I
like
thought
the
so.
fact that music videos intermingle with action. The premise is fine, but I also get worried about Twitch doing that shit as well. So I wasn't super a fan of it.
That's my first note.
That's my
okay.
thing.
Right.
That's why I don't like that. And I also didn't like the fact that they fucking did the letterboxing. I think they did that because of the actual music video. The video itself was fine. It's funny because I actually literally was mean to Doc as well. I was like, I don't know what the fuck Doc said. I was like, oh, at least someone got a fucking interest. You don't. And he's like, well, I'm working on one. I was like, oh, well, fuck me then. Like I treat like the people I like even worse than the people I don't like. Just know that.
That was when Rust was saying that Owen must have won.
Yeah. Fucking Rust is talking that shit, and then fucking I was shitting on Rust because like I attacked the people I like. Go figure. That being said, the actual video itself was very well done. The twins don't miss basically. The match itself, I have a weird criticism of it. I understood where they were going with it, but I kind of would have preferred, like if the last fall was more of the like free, like I think Jake knows what I'm trying to say. Like if it was, you can, that bullshit. Oh, I can kick out because I can still kick out. That kind of shit. Because I see, okay, the first two, okay, well, we're not gonna prolong it. So if you hit a finisher, then I'm gonna sell it. If you hit a finisher, I'm gonna sell it. Then last fall, I figured, okay, now it's when we're both like red or whatever, and then we'll do whatever it is called. So that's where it kind of was like a little weird to me. But the match itself, not match of the night, but really good regardless. Definitely worthy of a main event. And I love both characters. The story that was told was fucking chef's kiss, as you could tell by the intro video that I did. Using clips from everybody else who did fucking videos. So shout out to me being a fucking leech. Yeah, no, I have no complaints other than that I was a little confused about that. And shout out to Jake for fucking saving me from being like, wait a minute, champion's advantage? What? And then fucking saying it regardless, fucking it up, but whatever. Great effort. I don't know who I wanted to win. I was kind of, it was kind of like whoever wins, it's like, I don't know. So Tony, well, no, not Tony, but Doc won. And Tony,
you did it too. You did the same thing, Jake.
No,
I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
No, you did that. You did that. You definitely did that.
I did not.
You did that. But
right.
my thing
I explained myself.
Is Doc won, right? But Tony lost. So like, I hope they don't do Doc Tony. Not because I don't want to see it, but because I feel like that's very contrite.
I have so much to say about that. I'm so sick of this.
You're sick of me. Go ahead. Whatever.
I'm sorry. No, I don't
it's fine. It's fine. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a crazy old man, right? We'll do Pugh, Jimmy, then Jake.
Go ahead. That's not how it is at all. You didn't finish your thought. I want you to finish your thought. It's just so it's just so funny that it's like a constant theme. It's like the golden thread. You know what I mean?
Whatever. Like I said, I enjoyed the match. I just kind of wish it might have been a little longer. That maybe the last fall was more like, okay, we can abuse this 0 or 2 point kick out, but whatever. They respected our time. But go ahead. We'll do Pugh, Jimmy, then Jake. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've written down the reason it's main event is because it's obviously Star versus Star. It's two of the top guys.
And a big step.
It's
here's
the best
one of the things that was very like when the CCW title came back, it was dog shit because it was being rehabilitated because of the unpleasantness with that man that tried to take over the Fed. So to see the CCW championship as the world title now, which is the world title as far as I'm concerned, like the best feuds happened for that title over the past 6, 8, 10 months. So I'm like really like stoked about that. That's cool. The actual match itself, I wrote down copyright. So fuck that. The hype video was pretty boring to me. Like I didn't really. It wasn't as exciting as the other ones to me.
Really?
So,
okay.
I mean, yeah, I didn't. Dupree's entrance, which I'm told he explicitly asked Dupree for.
Good, he did. At least he did. The fucking other assholes didn't.
I didn't. No, I did not.
You didn't. You piece of shit.
No,
I enjoyed the snap falls. I enjoyed that the first thing that happened in the match was one went low, one went high on a drop kick, and they both completely missed each other. That was like, fuck knows what they were doing. They're supposed to be top of the game, and then they just miss each other. But I enjoyed the snap falls, so I wasn't expecting to see like somebody go down that early and somebody like I wasn't expecting the falls that happened, but I'm glad that they did because because the rules have never really been. I don't know if they have been now, but they certainly weren't when we've done 2 out of 3 falls and ultimate submissions and stuff in the past. The rules weren't clear or codified, so it was unclear when you could. And I feel like they took the initiative here and kind of just went, right, this is what we're going to do in this match.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It meant that we didn't sit and watch a 45-minute match. Which
That's true,
good.
bro.
Because what some people might have done with sort of the interpretation of stuff is they might have gone, well, we get 3 kickouts on every fall, which you might have. I know. I'm not saying they
He's the same shit I said on fucking Wednesday when we called the match.
But I'm saying there's so much room for interpretation when the match stipulation isn't codified. Therefore, we could have easily seen that, and I'm glad that we didn't. And of course we didn't because it's Rex and Doc, so of course we didn't see that. But it could have easily happened in the hand of. I mean, I can see the future idiots on my screen at the moment, so I'll use them as an example. Those guys. But yeah, it was 2 out of 3 falls done right, and Doc has a really good beard. Like that beard, he spent so much time on that, and yeah, it was a good match. It wasn't the best match of the night, but it was a great match, and yeah.
I think you hit it on the head, and like I said, like if the last one was more of the the fucking 0 or 1 or 2 whatever, then that would have been, I would have preferred that because we would have got maybe an extra couple minutes, which would have gave it a little bit extra oomph because you would have had more I guess what's the word I'm looking for, maybe some urgency or whatever, or some intrigue, because like, oh shit, boom, JJE kick out, fucking Lariat, maybe a kick out, then someone, a JJ like that. Like they didn't do anything wrong. It's just that it felt a little brief. They kept it oddly enough, as the last match on the card, they kept it succinct when they have a little bit more wiggle room not to be succinct, if that makes any sense.
I did,
but they don't know that.
No, they
don't. We talked about this earlier.
They interpreted the rules in a way that's still better than like what Dan said. Because motherfuckers, imagine we would have had the 3 on everything. That would have went like fucking 37 minutes.
That's from their experience. Because
they're great fucking handlers.
They have experience in the main event scene versus other people who don't and are who either don't know or are willing to take liberties because they don't know. These 2 definitely knew, and it's so funny. Like everything Dan said is exactly what I fucking told you on Wednesday when we called this match. I'm like, I think they let the first 2 falls go with 1 finisher, and they saved it all for the end so that they could do it. And then by the end, Rex just couldn't kick out.
Just fucking 1, bro.
That was my guess. Yeah. But that's a better route than going 3 kickouts per fall.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like 3 kickouts per fall is garbage. But I thought that the last fall would be we get 3 kickouts.
I think he just fucked it up. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He definitely did fuck it up. It's the first time that he tried to kick out on Xbox. He said to us in the first match.
I think he did. I think they tried to save it for the end, and then by the end he was so damaged that the meter wasn't as automatic. He just fucked it up, which is that's the way it goes.
I love.
But the recognition, the personal inventory both could take to be like, amazing. Okay, we are main eventers. We understand how this goes. Like we want to put on a show for people. Like that is admirable for sure.
That popped me huge. You know what also kind of worried me about Rex? We did Jimmy. We didn't skip Jimmy.
He said in the chat he tried to kick out.
Did we do Jimmy?
Yeah, Pugh's the only one that's gone.
Okay, so before we get to Jimmy, when I was actually watching the match, I just realized, oh shit, Rex has an Xbox. I have an Xbox. Oh no.
Lucian 18,
maybe,
Rex.
Right?
Hayden,
that's 24.
Hit him up, Hayden.
That's 24, baby. That's 24. That's not 23. I'm only fighting on Lucian.
You're not gonna buy it? You're not gonna buy it?
I'm only fighting on Lucian, brother. If I'm fighting that fat fuck, it's gonna be at Lucian. It's not gonna be on no fucking regular pay-per-view. Anyway, Jimmy, go. I'm just worried about now because he'll fuck me up. I'm not good at the game, bro. This motherfucker will
Oh.
tune me up, bro. Chill.
He's really nice.
Oh man, I I DM'd with you a little bit, Jay. I know what you're like in the game.
Did you
right now.
DM with me? You DM with me.
Yeah, he was in
Yes.
the 8-man. He was in the 8-man match. But
Oh
we
yeah.
buried your
Oh,
fucking
I went to
ass.
town on you. My bad. Yeah, you saw who you were working with. I was gangster.
Yeah,
Working. You
I,
talk shit.
I know how to work,
yeah,
bro.
I saw you with Drago. But anyway, the match was really good. I thought it fit being a Rex match. It's a Rex style match. It's kind of what I expected. I did not expect them to put on a 45-minute classic. There was no chance of that happening in my mind.
I love that. I love that perspective.
So Rex is a guy. He gets paid by the job, not by the hour. So he gets in, he gets out. And I've seen that by countless times. Main eventing pay-per-views or shows, or beating up my brethren, Alexander Bullock at London Calling, for example.
Murdering.
Murdering him, whatever you want to call that. But he works really well. Him and Doc have had some good stuff. I really enjoyed their written stuff up to this point too. They write quite well. The segments, and they kind of combined live segments with written segments. So like you'll see parts of them. So you really got to like go back and look to really appreciate it. So just like that
Contract signing is great for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's a great example as a contract signing. But overall, I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was a great way to end the show. You don't always have to have like this long epic match to end a show, right? Sometimes the best way to end the show is pop, 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 end of show, right? And that's what they did, and it turned out great.
You done with your thought? Okay, I guess you
It's
are.
my turn.
You're excited, aren't you? Go ahead.
Nah.
You're really excited.
So-
fuck.
Let's start from the top because I don't agree with Jay at all. That the
Fuck you. Oh my god.
Well,
Shocker?
hey,
You don't agree with me?
let me throw you a bone here because for the first time, maybe the first time all night, I don't agree with Dan either. The little glimpses into the music video that they did for the hype package, I thought was an awesome touch because it felt like that it was a collab. Or you know what I mean? Like you see that in pro wrestling, in real life sometimes. Like they do. It's more in like mainstream sports, like NBA and NFL.
No, it's not bad, but it's the same premise that gets me worried.
And I understand that, but the way they did it, and the way I've done it that way in the past before too, where you just kind of splice in little pieces of the video to give it a little energy. I don't think they did anything that would have piqued an algorithm or anything that would have shut you down. And this is coming from somebody who was 100,000% on your side about the Barbie shit at the beginning of the show, where I'm like, bro, we gotta lock this down. Like, I gotta flip this vertically. I gotta throw 7 filters on this. There's no way that this is gonna get away. But I don't think they did anything here that would trigger that. I just really don't. So I was oh my god, main event package fucking ruled with 4 exclamation points is what I put. Every package has its own flavor, so unique, so fun.
Yes.
It kept the pace frantic, kept it new, and it definitely did not suffer from the WWE thing of being too samey. And I feel that especially myself, because when I watch a WWE pay-per-view, they are succinct because they usually don't put 17 matches on it like the AEW does, but every single match is preceded by a hype, like a 4-minute hype package, and they all end up coming out kind of samey, aside from the rare like Cody Brock thing that they did with the Daylight song. But this, like, OCW doesn't have that problem because we're not controlled by one overlord producer. So I was a huge fan of that.
Well, that's what you're paying, but you sat right off.
Goddamn. The idea of me having control infuriates him for some fucking reason. When he used to ask me for like my advice on videos back in the day, him and Amp used to ask me for advice, but fuck me, right? Whatever. Continue, Jake. Well, I apologize for cutting you off.
That's okay. No, you don't have to apologize. I cut you off all the time. I don't think it was a big deal. I will say, though, I do agree with you. It was not my favorite hype package of the night. My favorite hype package of the night came earlier in the night, but it worked. The music kind of wasn't there for me. Anytime you use that kind of music in a Rex package,
love that music.
It just doesn't land. But it made sense. It made sense for Doc. It made sense for Doc, and it worked. It worked in the overall scheme. But I think it could have been a little better. It wasn't my favorite hype package of the night, but the fact that we have hype packages for like every single big match, versus 2018 when 100%. I joined, is remarkable. It's crazy. It's so fun. I love seeing everybody's unique take on it. The match itself was exactly like, I can't say anything that Dan and Jim and you haven't already said. It was a frantic back and forth. There was no like downtime. There wasn't any time for sports entertainment or any bullshit like that. And I do kind of like that. And that's kind of what the note that I wanted to make for you when you said I wanted it to be this. Like, not everything can be formulaic, and the fact that it's not formulaic is what makes the biggest matches, the biggest moments, that much bigger. Like when we see a Rex versus B17 as the main event of Resolution, the reason that that's so big is because not every main event has that kind of oomph. Not every main event has that like longevity or all that shit. So I didn't mind it. I think, to Brian's point, and I've referenced them many times, any of the world title matches tonight could have main evented. And in fact, I would even say that the international title could have main evented tonight in the right circumstance. I don't think tonight was the right circumstance. And the fact that the international title was first and Marissa had her world title match later, that told a great story. So like your card placement was perfect. But we produced a show as a community where we had 4, maybe even more than that, potential main event matches, like if you count Rust and Blacksmith and all that. And that's such a positive, really. I guess if I'm talking about the match itself, I really can't add anything that you guys haven't already talked about. The back and forth, the 3 stages that they all went through, the one-offs, like knowing what situation they're in, taking that personal inventory and knowing that they don't want to be shitty or make their match look lame. That's just what happens when you're in the main event scene for so long, I guess. I don't know. I was a big fan. Great way to end the show. The whole package, when we finished commentary, Jay, I did not think it would be. I like went into it. I'm like, oh, this is going to be like a B pay-per-view. I really did. And then after, no, I didn't tell you that, but I thought that. I did. I'm like, oh, this is going to be like a lesser. This is not Side.
Oh,
this
in your
is
head?
not.
In your head?
This is not Annie. This is not. Yeah, exactly. This is not Side. This is not Annie. This is not Lucian. This is not like a big blow up. But then watching it back on the second time, and especially with everybody watching with me and everything, the pacing was perfect. It was a great show. Like 3 hours. Perfect pay-per-view. It's not like we're not going to remember this in the annals of history.
Shit.
But for a fun pay-per-view that none of us are being paid for. Shit, dude, this brought me immense enjoyment on a Saturday.
I mean, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't bad at all. It
was great. It was
pretty fucking good.
I had big misgivings after the first 2 matches, and I was like, shit, what's this show going to be? But then it did turn around. So did he.
Yeah, no, but I booked it a certain way. Look, like this is the thing. Like, if you want me to, you can. If you want, mom, talk to Jake. If you want fucking dad, talk to me. Oh yeah, no, that's like. From if you want to go into like the brain perspective of it, in my head it's like, okay, well, first things first, it's like, okay, we have 2 rookies, right? And then they're fighting a veteran handler and then whatever the fuck Carter is. So in my head I'm thinking, well, the rookies might be kind of like, shaky. So give it a shot. We need the exciting opener, so it'll be really good or really shit. In this case, it was really not awful, so it worked out.
It was okay.
In the second match, it's like, okay, this is going to be, not a cool down, but, murder. That didn't happen, so that annoyed me. And then, Mark Reese and stuff. The thing is, I was the only reason that Reese
brought you back in a big way.
The only reason Reese and B17 was there was because the Rust match was like 20 minutes, and I'm like, I don't want to give people 18 minutes, fucking 18 minutes for that fucking A-Mart match and then fucking 20 minutes. Like that's kind of like, ugh. So we break it up. The B17 match is shorter, it's faster, it's harder hitting. Good spot. And then we need a title match. Where do we put, what do we put there? Do we put the OCW title? Maybe not, because people will cry. No, I'm just kidding. Women's, it's like international because number one, they didn't even have a hype package. So it's like, fuck it. That's a good place to put it. it's good and maybe a
and
feel good
also
moment
it's a
for
mid
Max.
card.
Yeah, you got to make if you make a hype package and you get further up the card.
Nah,
no,
you're right.
no.
That's just me.
That's what he does.
And
then I
don't
go
do
like,
that. Don't
no,
come down. Let me
that's
finish.
not
Let me
the
finish my thought.
reason.
I know, but I'm just being
You're
a
right,
dick.
I'm
But
sorry.
it's like, okay, so this is a title match, and then knowing what happened with the M stuff is like this has to go in the middle. Oddly enough, here's the thing: I want that to go first, and I was debating if it should go first. I was talking to Emp. I was like, I don't know if this should go first. I talked to Jake. You haven't seen this, but I don't know if this should go first. Now I don't fucking know because. But then think about it. We have this fucking epic car crash, and then we go to fucking Barbie, and it's like, it might not be a good idea. And then, oddly enough, it's a good thing it didn't go first because then we would have fucking cranial brain damage, which would, so that was another thing. Like, we have cranial brain
Well, you
damage
would've
and potential
moved it,
death.
though.
We have cranial brain damage and potential death, and then we have someone fucking going through the stage. So where do we put these things? So like, all right, middle.
You would have moved the other one though.
Middle.
So you can't spend all your like brain power hypotheticalizing everything.
I'm just going through what I go through as
That's not
on a mental basis anyway. So then that's the middle part. Good. That's the middle part. So the funny thing is I actually thought that in my head, Russ was after the fucking Guess I Held Yo with Emp.
Yeah,
But it wasn't. Like me and you were arguing for a hot second and like, what are you talking about? Like, look at your car. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, oh, you're right.
Yeah,
and it worked out.
me
But you know what? You know why I did that? Because the M thing was so short. I'm like, okay, now we could put in something that takes a while and whatever. But it's like that. I didn't write that. I put the actual Diva match. But in my head, I was like, oh, because combined it's like 18 minutes, so that'll work, and put that in there. And it worked out perfect because it was a nice little light, whatever, golden crust, nice pie or whatever the fuck. And then we take it to the second one, which is the fucking Extreme Rules, which is whatever the fuck that was with Horse and Russ.
And we spent like half the Lucha Rules tag match like selling the segment from beforehand anyway. And we didn't want to do that with Russ Blacksmith.
And then we came right back at it. Like I know what basically at the end of the day, I know what the fuck I'm doing. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
You do. I've said that many times. I put your card order.
But you said.
Oh, I put your card order
the
over
last
so
8
many
months.
times.
Like it hasn't been like fucking 2 years. Relax, okay? Cut it out.
No, I said no. I've put your card order like your pacing and everything.
You said recently, like it's the last.
I
year.
said. I know. Well,
like
I told you
seasons,
that.
Poppy.
I told you that too. I'm like, hey, in the last like 10 months or whatever, I've had no notes when you send me the card order. And like before, you would send me the card order, and I would be like, hey, we should probably move this here, move this here. That's not a big deal, but.
Listen, Poppy, it's been 2 years.
It's remarkable enough.
It doesn't matter how long it's been. Just shut the fuck up. Let's end this podcast. I'm tired. I don't want to hear this.
I'm
so tired.
I'm glad you're tired. Good. I'm surprised you even showed up. I wish you guys would have argued, but you didn't. It made me sad.
No, because ultimately, like I've been created to be some sort of boogeyman character when actually, like, I'm quite a normal person, and Jake's got quite similar conversations.
I hate it.
In terms of
I fucking
similar views on OCW.
I don't like
exactly.
This.
We feel the same way.
I don't like this.
He comes off as a piece of shit in the chat, but he's not. Every conversation I've ever had with Dan in private and mostly in public, we're on the same page.
I wanted arguments.
I told you in staff chat, stop building this up because it's not going to be what you wanted. I wanted
arguments and people yelling over each other, and I wanted someone to be called.
You got it.
I wanted somebody. I wanted somebody to be called a fat pussy.
You got us to sit here for 4 fucking hours to talk about nothing.
Well, we're done. So anyway, so let's put a bow.
We might have caused arguments, but they're off in a different chat having that argument.
Yeah.
We don't need to deal with
it. Anyway, so we'll end it up. Give quick thoughts for Pugh, Jimmy, Jake, and then we can get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it was fine. Like Jake said, it's not like we're not going to remember this next year. Like it's just a show, but it was good for what it was. It was fine. Yeah.
Great, Jimmy.
I thought the show was great overall. Obviously we had a few matches that need improvement. Some things to work on overall, but great showing, especially towards the end of the card. Everybody that put in content did a great job, and we appreciate what you do, Jay.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate that, Jake.
Yeah, exactly what Dan said. We're not going to remember this in a year, but
why? Why do next week?
But why do we need to? Like the fact that this community and you especially, Jay, can build this
ridiculously hard.
Can build not just the content that is on the show, but all of the other like presentation elements. It's really unbelievable, especially when you consider other people in our niche, our industry, if I could dare say. are putting out shows once every 3 months because they're trying to do it on their own. Like, man, you are a crazy man. We're about to celebrate 19 years in December. So
it's literally almost. It's probably. 20.
I
God,
appreciate
it
you.
makes me grow.
Yeah. So to build on what Dan said, we're not going to remember Hard Target in 2023 in a year, but Hard Target 2023 is a perfect, solid encapsulation of why OCW is the greatest.
It was definitely a show. That's the best thing.
It was a show, baby.
It was definitely a show.
No doubt about it.
So yeah,
and now we can go to the local medical facility and try and locate the bodies.
You may need to.
We have to find fragments of Claude Hall's skull, and we have to find out where the fuck Furiosa is dead.
She
somewhere.
went through the ground.
They're just
fire.
They're
in China.
They're in twin fucking what you call it, medical bays, just holding hands. Like, oh my god, I hate this place. You're right, we hate this place.
I have a quick question.
What's
I would
your
love
question?
to know how much a match like Blacksmith and Russ Cole costs OCW.
That's a good point too.
Ooh,
probably
that's expensive. Like
probably
I'm thinking 50 stacks, probably.
You mean like 50 racks?
50 grand.
Jesus Christ, you're so Caucasian. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us for this fucking tirade affair. Wow, this is just as long as a pay-per-view. God damn it. So thank you so much. Right. I appreciate.
Some might say it was better than the pay-per-view.
Not me. Not me.
Not Jake.
Oh,
God forbid, right? The contrarian Pugh legend also.
Now I gotta watch Bound for Glory tomorrow. You
right
fucking
now,
losers! You kept me here so long.
I thought you were just gonna leave to go watch it.
My wife's in bed. I should have fucking left, but you built this thing with me and Dan up, so I didn't want to disappoint you. You're a nightmare person. You have some kind of hold on me that I can't.
Terrorism.
He really is. It's fucking
a nightmare person. Is
it's called a
I'm going on a week-long trip next week, and I'm sitting here worried about Jay's OCW Turmoil show. Like, fuck's sake, dude.
Wow.
I gotta get my faculties in order.
A nightmare person and a trauma thing. Well, first of all, before we go, I made the mistake of agreeing to a Halloween show without looking at the calendar because I'm old and stupid.
I told you to move it.
No, I'm not gonna move it. I'm not gonna move it.
I told you to fucking move it. The Friday after November 3rd. November 3rd is closer to Halloween than October 27th. You did not have to do a show after the pay-per-view. No one asked you to do it. No, you did it.
No.
You did it.
I was asked, and I agreed to it weeks prior. And,
you did
no
it.
One
You're
does
the one
Halloween
that runs
shows.
this shit.
Listen.
Stop this conversation for a second. Like exactly what Jake just said. You're in charge. Who's telling you when to book shows?
One's telling me.
Why are you listening to people?
No one's telling me.
You yell at me every time. You're like, motherfucker, I make the rules.
Why
make the fucking rules.
Why'd you do that voice? Why'd you do that voice?
That's my best impression without being
that is a
overtly
racist
racist
impression of me.
Oh man.
Well, hey, look, I'm teetering.
You are teetering.
Your racism.
Bell just told you to take his Xanax. Take his Xanax.
Just end this show.
I'm gonna end this show.
I'm already on it. Dan wants to go to bed.
Fuck him. No, he's like, I'm gonna stay awake.
I want to go to bed.
Yeah, you can go to bed though, but
let's talk about this Halloween show then. Why are you doing this Halloween show?
Yeah,
quickly.
Please.
I was asked, and I didn't think.
It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Who has the authority to tell you to do a show?
No one.
I don't have the authority to tell you to do shit. I give you suggestions all the time, and you tell me to go fuck myself.
Listen.
Is it Nate?
Listen,
Nate.
Listen,
it had Nate.
Listen,
Nate said I want a Halloween show.
Listen. Okay. I said yes weeks ago.
Was it Olivia?
I said no. I said yes weeks ago. Okay, right? And I wasn't thinking. Doesn't matter who. Doesn't matter.
He won't tell us.
Doesn't matter who. Doesn't matter
who's pulling the strings here. Who's the puppet master?
There's no puppet master. I'm just saying that I'm a man of my word. So I agreed to it. So then when you said a couple weeks ago, oh yeah, we're off next week, I'm like, yeah, good. I need the time off. And then we were all fine.
We always do a week off.
I know.
We always do a week off after the pay-per-view.
Listen. It's my fault.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
It is. We all agree about that.
Cancel that show.
So I'm this is my cross to bear, and I will bear it. You won't be here because you're going to be whatever. And it's fine. I hate my life, and that's all I want to say. Like, I don't appreciate being the victim here. I'm the hero.
You silenced us to say you hate your life. We just want to know who is pulling the strings. Who has so much dominion over you that you are like beholden to take their recommendations.
Who's the third
This is a
man?
bad idea.
Who's the
It's 6
third
days.
man?
Jay, the show is in 6 days.
Who's the third man? Doesn't matter.
You can't run pay-per-views on time ever.
Wow.
It's always
That's not the
delayed.
case. That's not number one. That's not the case. That's a lie.
Every pay-per-view is
Oh
delayed.
my-
Anybody who's in this community knows that. And I'm not blaming you for that because you go above and beyond to make these fucking amazing. But I'm telling you, knowing that fact that you can't even get a pay-per-view out on time that is accurately scheduled, who the fuck has so much power over you that they're like, I want a Halloween show on the 27th.
It's
and
not
you go,
number one.
I want it on, let's do November 3rd. And they go, no, it has to be
No,
the
no, 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 no,
27th.
no. That's not a conversation. Number one, I'm a man of my word. Number two, in my head, a November Halloween show is stupid, and I won't do that.
Closer to the 31st
You know
than
what?
the 27th.
That means
Objectively speaking.
Yeah, but turkeys come out with the pumpkins, and I'm not about that life. Once it's November, it's turkeys. After October 31st, it's no longer Halloween time. I don't care.
You're a weird dude. And I love you.
I'm currently striking the names off the list of the roll call. Trying to work out who it is.
I'm gonna go now because I'm tired of being the victim of this, of whatever this is. I do appreciate you, Jimmy, for taking your time. I do appreciate you, Daniel, for taking your time and your cooking or whatever the fuck you did. And I do appreciate you, Jake, even though you're incredibly aggressive to me and disrespectful, and you cut me off, and I don't get mad at you. You lucky. You lucky. I appreciate all of y'all.
It's because you're my friend. I love you.
I hate you.
It's because we're friends.
And-
You're not my boss. I'm not going to treat you like my
should.
boss. I'm going to treat you like my
I need
friend.
you to be afraid of me and
No.
scared. You know what you are because you and
That's
Russ,
never going to happen.
you and Russ are the same way.
Wait. Let me solve this problem. Who's calling the matches if Jake isn't doing them and you're not doing them?
I'm
damn right. Fucking tell him, Dan.
I'm gonna find somebody, and if I can't find nobody, I'm gonna do it myself.
I'll do it.
No, because
Jim,
that will lead us.
Jim, I've
Don't
known you
volunteer.
8 years. Don't volunteer in front of me, you fucking weasel. I'll toss you out of here faster than AC Cobra.
You can't toss them out of here. You can't do anything. You have no power here. All you do is book. You fucking
Exactly.
schmuck.
Somebody else has got the power.
But once I start schmoozing whoever forced you into this October 27th show, then I will have the power.
It's October. It's 27. Yeah, it's 27th. Yeah, whatever. You don't have no power. I'll find someone to do comedy, and if I can't find somebody, I'll do it myself. And maybe I'll use Jimmy. How about that? You know that. Maybe I'll use Jimmy.
Please do.
I should.
Please put me out of my misery. I asked you. I was
just for
done.
today.
I was done with this. I was done with this last year.
Why
and
are you
told
doing?
me to
No,
stay.
but now you're conflating. Don't do that. Don't conflate.
You
Jimmy's
kept-
not
you
your
kept-
replacement.
You
Jimmy's
kept
not your
the show
replacement.
going. You kept the show
Jimmy's
going,
not
not
your
me.
replacement.
You kept the pod going. Now we're on the air.
Thank
No.
you. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
thank you.
coming
Dude,
to the
look at-
podcast.
look at-
Thank
trying
you.
to show me.
Thank you to our sponsors. We're gonna go now.
Thank you, Rush TV.
Okay, I'm going to bed.
All right,
Fuck you
goodbye.
guys.
Good night. We'll see
All
you
right,
later. We'll see you
everybody.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye. You
Have a
fuck.
great
I hate
night.
this.
Bye.
I
Yeah,
hate this
bye.
place so much.